Oh, righty. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Monday stream. We are back on the alternate file for Limbus since I had the bonus stream last week on my main file to go through the ending of Canto 9. All 8 hours of it. But, we are not dealing with that anymore. We are dealing with Canto 3 now. We are literally dividing ourselves by 3 for this moment. So, give me a moment to make sure everything's good and going, and we will just get ourselves started. I will be joined by Kokam's shortly thereof, but I'm gonna hold on to my lunacy for now because I do know as of current time that while Index Don Quixote is currently relevant, we are getting a new unit on Wednesday, so I'll save that for next time we stream. We'll try for that starting Canto 4, or wherever we are in that. You know what? No, I'll hold off on this, but I will go ahead and use my nominal Battle Pass ego to grab me this.
이 전투는 승리할 거예요.
Fluid Sac Faust. Available from the very beginning of the game and is still considered one of the best, if not outright the best, healing EGO. It's one of the most consistent. It is also one of very few in the entire game that can heal both HP and SP for allies. So, it has its merits. Anyway, Yellow Dark.
Hello.
I should mention that I did do a single mirror dungeon run just to kind of get some stuff done. I'm not going to be really doing too much mirror dungeon because I like doing hard mode mirror dungeon because it'll clear out the entirety of the weekly bonus instead of having to do multiple runs. But that won't open up until after I beat Canto 7. So whether or not we ever get to that point in this file is But anyway, back to Canto 3. Oh yeah, we left off at 317. Make sure Fluid Sac is equipped to Faust. Yeah, might as well put Liquid Veil on. But yeah, this is why it's considered so good, because 15 SP for all allies, Faust included, so it practically negates its own cost. Because, yeah, it's a 20 sanity cost for Faust to activate Fluid Sac, and then it heals 15 SP, so as long as it connects at all, you always get free ESP, and it's for all allies, so it's really good if you have other EGO that was used earlier in the turn, or you need a pinch, and 15% of max HP for all allies. So, like, there's a reason why Fluid Sac is just so consistent in people's Faust kits. Like, it's rare to find anything else on Faust. The only exception is for anyone that happened to play during the Arknights event, is the one you got for Calcite, which is comparable, but obviously if you weren't there for the event, you can no longer get it. That is the only thing in this game that is permanently locked out to all players that were not there. Which kind of makes sense, it was a crossover thing that usually happens, but... Anywho's it. I'll be fine. Crunch. Also, can you say something real quick, Dark?
Sheep.
Okay, just making sure the Discord audio was picking up. Sinclair's home was the largest mansion in the neighborhood, standing at the innermost part of town. One could see from a distance that a huge flame was engulfing the estate. I took a moment to try and imagine what this town could have looked like during its peaceful times. To bring to mind the times when the trees we saw near town still had lush, verdant leaves. How Sinclair would have been during those times. Or when everyone around him had died. I couldn't paint a clear picture of either happiness or despair. Nonetheless, I only hope that Sinclair can brace himself for the misfortune he'll soon have to face. This is awful, to say the least. The courtyard that could have once been a vast, flourishing garden was now full of nails erected tall. A variety of prosthetic bodies were pierced by those towering nails. And the house was enveloped in a ferocious flame, ready to consume everything around it. While everyone's attention was drawn to the prostheses, Sinclair's eyes drifted to a corner of the yard. The graves. They're dug up? Following his gaze, I could see 3 graves that were violated. Sinclair's expression alone was enough for me and all of the other sinners to guess who they were for. To execute the dead. This is nothing short of a devil's work. Father, mother, and sister. The family he mentioned. That's where they should be resting. Halt. One uniform. Straight ahead. That whistling. I mean, it's just too funny when you think about it. Someone walked out of the burning household. Her laugh was simply sinister in every way imaginable. Why put so much effort into burying bodies that can't even rot? Am I right?
Remind me where she ranks on the most hated ranking.
For Limbus Company, pretty low.
Really?
Yeah, like I think last time I checked, she was like in the 20s or something. Like she's pretty low. Like
God, if she's low, I don't know if I want to know what kind of people are. Well, oh wait, Hindley. yeah, you know what? I have to throw my comment. Never mind.
I'm sure you'll find him around somewhere if you look hard enough.
I do remember nailing those 3.
You good boy. And I might just tell you where they are. Well, Sinclair, you've grown a spine, coming all the way here. Enough of one to look at a few dead bodies, too. Right?
Why? Just... why all of this? Sinclair couldn't even speak properly. Where did our before team get off to? They've got to turn up at this point.
Ah, Sinclair's got some buddies. Looking for the other filthy ratlets that snuck in here. Okay. Watch closely. I'll turn on the lights. So open your eyes wide. Ta-da!
Effie? Effie was barely breathing. His limbs had been cut away, and deformed prosthetics were crudely lodged in their place. He was too mutilated to even speak a single word. In his current state, it will take around 2 days for him to completely die. And the pole piercing through him will only amplify his suffering. Then... Manager, I happen to know of a method to end a life with as little pain as possible. It's one that saw many uses, in fact. May I ask you to give me the order? I looked to both Gregor and Ishmael. They gazed back at me and, as if in acknowledgement, dropped their heads low and bit their lips. I understood what that meant. Rest in peace. The collar of Otis's clothes brushed against the wind. Then silence. And it's then broken by Cromer's roaring laughter. At the same time, I could hear something else break.
Really? It's hilarious to watch you all care for each other when you all meet the same fate anyway. Brings you back, doesn't it, Sinclair? Your face back then was real priceless.
Cromer, you have to die. Yeah. We think that's the right way. You'll die by mine. He was interrupted by the sound of a nail dragging across the floor. It's Godot. We thought we had felled him with our best, but not a scratch was on his body now. It was as if all his injuries healed in that short time. Seeing him walk towards us in perfect condition fatigued the sinners. Rendered speechless, all they can muster from their hearts is a deep groan of contempt.
Ito, why couldn't you take out the others?
Forgive my ineptitude, O one who grips. My incompetence allowed them to escape.
You have to stay alert. You never know what's hidden under those cursed steel craniums.
I shall keep your word at heart, O one who grips.
Since the reunion is over, I'll be heading back.
Cromer turns away to walk into the burning mansion.
No, Sinclair. It's always been the other way around.
A long smirk dances around Cromer's entire face. It's hard to tell if it's the violent blaze or Cromer's vice that is consuming the other. And then...
I am the one who grips.
So we have to fight Godot again! Remember this being a bit of a hiccup spot back in the early days. Really? Struggling. Punk. Sinclair, boy! There we go. The reason I decided to bring in Base Sinclair is that you probably just heard that whistling sound, and all of the enemies now have a buff. Cromer's whistles, we shall fear not, for the one who grips is with us. I believe every time that whistle occurs, Base Sinclair loses sanity. It's kind of incentive not to bring him. But I kind of wanted to show it off because, it's the first instance of, battle effects that are unique to very specific centers in their respective kantos. Ow. My Sinclair. This is probably a point that I either switch Sinclair to something not base, or I might just not bring Sinclair in, but... But it is one of those things that I don't know if it affects non-base Sinclair as well, but I know back in the very beginning of the game it did not affect non-base identities. Like, I don't know if that was just kind of an oversight thing or an intentional thing that only regular Sinclair is affected by the whistle.
해보겠습니다.
그대는 친절하지 않아.
쉽네.
즉시 퇴거하시죠. 하지만 안정하지 않군요.
Nice job, Faust. Yeah, it appears that Sinclair loses about 15 SP every time the whistle plays.
내 뒤로.
You'll be fine.
거기까지. 거기까지.
Oh yeah, kind of forgot that Rodian's passive would proc like that. Basically, ever since we cleared Kanto 2, all Bayside enemies now have their passives unlocked because they are now uptide 2. And Rodian's is really good. One ally with the most HP deals plus 20% damage with heads. Like, that's just a good base effect. Ishmael's is okay, and I forget what. I don't think that's base Ishmael, but it doesn't really matter. Basically, there are benefits to uptime units to at least level 2 if they have a nice passive. Honestly, Gregor's is one of the most well-rounded, because as long as you have any level of Gloom on your team, he heals 5 HP for one ally with the lowest current at the start of the combat turn. So it's like, that little bit of healing is not bad, and it has no other conditionals. Honestly, I think Greg has 3 different IDs that if you meet their sin cost, it's just, hey, heal 5 HP. Like, honestly, when doing solos, it's not uncommon to have Greg just doing healing in the background.
이제 간다.
운명적인 죽음일세. 대행 완료.
꿈은 단정하지 않군요.
위험 요소 제거.
There we go. Victory.
이제 다음 시련만 넘어서면 본인 또한 감히 나리의 가족이 될 수 있겠군.
I never realized the name of 3-18. It makes sense.
외로울 일도 없을
Alright, let's get Sinclair out of here for a second. Okay, so it was Butler Ishmael in the background there. Yeah, I can put him on Zwei, I guess. And I don't have the threats for that, no.
퀘스트 확인했어요.
Alright. We'll
파우스트가 맞이하죠.
we'll see if Zwei Faust or Zwei Sinclair is affected.
야 너!
Oi, what? Sinclair leapt forth to chase Cromer before anyone could stop him. However, he's blocked by the remaining Endcorp Inquisitors. In response, he swings his weapon with a tremendous force I never thought he could exert, crushing the head of one who grabbed him. The Inquisitor collapses to the ground before even a gasp could escape their mouth. Sinclair would normally keep to the back of our group. This was the first time I saw him charge. Blah. This was the first time I saw him charge in unprompted like that.
뭐야?
What
너
the?
이럴 거면 왜 여태껏 뒤에서 꼼지락
I can't really
거리냐?
blame him.
No.
My family like that. I'd have their head on a stick.
Yeah. What the hell have you been dawdling in the back for if you could do that?
본인은
I
그대들의
remember with
숨을
clarity
막기
that I had
위한
ended your
기회가
lives.
두개골의 틈새로
I undoubtedly
흘러나온
witnessed
내
torn brain
도
tissue
깊어.
spill from the cracks in your skulls.
그러나
And yet,
그대의 이
here you
남은
heretics are,
지금 땅을
before
봐.
me on your
니네
feet.
앞에서
오히려
You're not one to complain about miraculous recoveries. Godot examines me closely with his piercing glare. He then slowly nods as if his observation gave him the knowledge he needed.
귀하
You there,
이단의
the
머리
one
인자
possessing the head of a heretic.
필시
You must be the false shepherd enticing this herd into blasphemy.
틀림없군.
He proceeds to nudge his chin at the nailed corpses in the courtyard.
저자들은
They
불결한
committed the
이유로
grave sin of entering the
신성
site of hallowed
의식의
rites with their
침입에
unclean bodies.
죄를 저질렀다. 그리하여
Thus, they have been punished with the same penalty as heretics receive.
스스로의 의지 없이
They have also been
해결하는
subjected to the
임무를
humiliation of
내쳐박은
bodily
지옥도
mechanical
겪게
intrusions
된다.
being installed against their will.
하지만
But you are different.
그대들은 다르다. 이단을 신봉하던
The sin of worshipping a heretic is less severe than indulging in heresy oneself.
하여
Therefore, as long as you are willing to repent and cleanse your minds of sin, we, the Hammer, are willing to demonstrate forgiveness. So I implore you, ye pitiable foolish sinners, led astray by temptation, shake off the allure of that false miracle and kneel before me. The confrontation came to a standstill. No one seemed willing to speak first. So you've all been under my spell or something all along? Who'd have thought that? I tried cracking a joke to lighten the mood a little, but no one laughed.
단테 씨,
Dante,
저자의 말은
that
당신을
man,
모욕한 거잖아요.
he just insulted you.
인간 취급도 안 하는
He doesn't
거라고요.
even see you as a human being. I mean, you guys call me Clockface all the time too.
그거랑 다르잖아요.
That's not the same at all.
심지어 저는 그렇게
Besides,
생각지도
I've never used that nickname. Ishmael grunted.
그럴듯한 말만 대충 질러버리면
So you
다
think
되는
throwing
줄 아나
fancy
본데.
words around will be enough to persuade us, huh?
빠져나와야
Listen up,
하는
faceplate.
너희 같은
You're the one who needs a little
머리가
shaking
멀쩡하게
off.
달려있는데도
Seems to
그런데.
me your human brain's just as defective.
기회는 충분하게
You were
제공하고
given ample opportunity.
그대들 또한 매달리게
You are no
될
different from those we hung and
그림자가
nailed after all.
나는 멍청
I am a hammer.
지는 자께
I am a
충성하여
tool for the one who
이단의
grips,
몸을 꿰뚫고
tasked with the great
대역을
mission of
막는
piercing the false flesh of heretics.
내 너희를
I shall
모세께
bind thee to a nail
그에게서
and lay thee
가장
down
먼
furthest
곳에
from soil.
위치하게 하리라. 죄를
For
참여하지
he who
않는
shan't repent. Oi, when are you gonna finish your stupidly long taunt?
시비는 언제 끝나냐? 흙으로도
He is
돌아가지
not granted
못하리라.
rest beneath the earth.
Heathcliff, turn this hammer into slag.
You got it!
내 뒤로.
Listen, you tell Heathcliff pummel and he won't ask a second question. He'll hardly ask you a first question. Ow.
I mean, granted, I feel like in this case it'd be like, let me get one good one in on the face before you finish him off.
Dawn? Thank you, lass.
Miss
Dawn.
Quixote. Miss Quixote.
I mean, Greg ain't doing much better either, buddy. Jesus Christ, man.
Samson.
Samsa. Okay, no. Sinclair period is affected by the whistles. They've actually changed that. Interesting.
What? I've been quiet.
I can turn you up a bit. Ow.
어떠냐?
Good to see Heathcliff's doing fine. Honestly, a sinking team is probably a terrible idea for these guys, but alas, here I am.
예측할 수 없게. 운명적인 죽음일세. 운명적인 죽음일세.
Good job, Dawn. She's earning her paycheck.
I don't know why my brain just came up with the stupidest question ever.
Mm-hmm.
Who of the sinners would probably give the best massages?
Marceau. He will literally turn you boneless.
That won't kill you.
No, it won't kill you.
Massage.
It won't kill you. You will just be boneless.
Like, literally or figuratively?
Figuratively. You will be
you know,
figuratively
it's-
boneless.
It's funny because as soon as I said that, Verso popped into my head for some reason. I just thought,
Ow! My Faust.
오티스님,
We'll be fine. We'll live. We'll live forever. Ow. Ow. Okay, I might have to restart this one.
note to self, next time I go to the grocery store, buy Chex Mix.
내 뒤로.
But no, we actually have a first-hand account in the game of what it is like to receive a massage from Marceau, and it is a case of your body just kind of gives up for a while. You're pretty damn relaxed, but it is a case of you are kind of rendered boneless.
I remember
그 정도인가?
after I had a massage, I think for the first time in 3 or 4 years, I called my mom afterwards and I said, "Is it normal to feel like my skeleton is breathing?" And she said, "Yeah, that's normal. You're fine."
Ow. Bye, Heath.
아프잖아.
Okay, we're restarting this fight. that went terribly. Try not to breathe into the mic, sir.
Sorry. Ever since I had to change how this thing is angled, if I even take so much as a decent breath, it picks it up now.
Alright, it is recommending everyone to be at least level 27, so maybe put them up a little bit. Maybe 23 if I can manage it. At least the main important ones, and maybe not Sinclair. Let's not use a Sinclair for now. See, the thing is, my choice doesn't matter as much. Yeah, literally, basically nobody. Ishi.
청소실 같네요.
Okay, the only other thing that's probably worth your salt around here. Heath. Go ahead. Faust. Alright. Okay, you guys are all level 23.
천천히 가자니까.
Alright. Once more with you.
내 뒤로.
Nice. Oh right, I forgot these guys inflict paralyze, that's why they're such bastards.
위험 요소.
Hey! Come on, buddy.
먼지를 떨어내줘.
There we go, Greg.
거기까지.
필연적. 절대.
거기까지.
필연적. 절대.
See, that is kind of the point of having actually good units on your team. Dawn's kind of cleaning up house.
지령에게 불확실한 것은 없네.
Yeah! Says the Don Quixote.
묵은 먼지도
Yeah, after this I'm not gonna go through the stages, but I'm probably gonna click the button for the excavations a little bit so I can at least get more of the tickets. Because I will definitely have to be leveling these guys up before the end of this.
예측할 수 없게.
녀석. 잭.
퇴거.
Imagine the rest of the sinners finding out Don Quixote is the most popular, just like, her? She's so annoying!
Kind of, yeah. I think the one that would be most bitter about it is Rodian. Ah, hello,
Why
Guido.
Rodian?
Because she wants to be special.
먼지를 떨어내줘.
Doesn't everyone?
That's literally her
okay,
primary
ne-
character motivation.
Or, okay, maybe not everyone, but isn't that not super uncommon?
어떠냐?
Rodian's Kanto happened because she wanted to be special.
퇴거하시죠.
Where does Rodian even rank on the popular rate?
She was like kind of middle of the road, if not on the lower end.
About what I expected.
과거와 같이
먼지를 떨어내줘.
Yeah, I think if I remember right, like the top 3 was Dawn, Ishmael, Greg.
Yeah, that
그런
checks.
건가? 거기까지.
Like, I think Greg's benefit is he has good character design and he's earnest. Like he is
Yeah,
nice.
운명적인 죽음.
yeah, I watched somebody react to the trailers for the Sinners, and they were very excited when they got to Gregor's, just like, who is this?
Basically. Anyway, the ground shook as Godot finally fell. I couldn't help but wonder if we really did him in. Yet we were too exhausted to bother and take his helmet off to check his breathing. Sinclair.
Imagine if underneath he's the very thing he's fighting against.
Hold on to that thought for a sec. Sinclair was repeatedly jabbing his spear into a dead Inquisitor. The corpse was mangled beyond recognition, its blood and organs spilling all over the floor.
싱클레어.
Sinclair, calm down. He didn't seem to care about anything other than the body he was set out to destroy. Occasional pants of rage and tearful gasps were all that came out of his mouth. Kill them all. I knew stopping him was the right thing to do, but no one dared step in. It was evident that he was too blinded by ire to listen to us.
정신 차리게
You
하는
just gotta get it out of your system.
생각보다 참 간단하네.
I know a way most simple to bring him back to his senses. At that, Don Quixote suddenly jumped Sinclair and pinned him to the ground. Then, she started laying into his face. One fist thrown after the other.
이거
Oh,
말려야 하는 거 아니야?
shouldn't we do something?
냅둬.
Leave him be.
분노하는 싸움 따위.
A couple calves tussling isn't worth intervening. A cloud of dust rose from her ruthless beating. After a while, Don Quixote cut her onslaught. Pray tell,
정신
how does that feel now?
Pardon my rash accent. Oft I would find myself overcome by fervor, rampaging as much the same as a riderless horse. At such moments, mine old friends helped me to come to myself by beating me senseless. 'Twas, at times, the only remedy to the fervor that had overtaken me.
Uh-huh. So in that sense, Virgilius must be a good friend of yours too, right?
Well, I...
Tears plinked down from Sinclair's bruised eyes. I'll get her for this. I'll go to my home and skewer that bitch. I'll skewer her with a stake and then... The rest of his sentence was overrun with pain sobbing. After a while of sniffling, Sinclair finally seemed to calm down as he put a hand to his face and started muttering. I lost everything overnight. Back then, they didn't parade their knuckle and hammer him around. You didn't see large groups like that in the open. But at some point, people calling themselves hammers started showing up in town, one by one, and... It's okay, kiddo. No need to push yourself. Rhodia gently pat him on the back. Thank you, Snowy. I still think that sometimes this is all just a bad dream and I'm having trouble waking up. It always comes every morning before I open my eyes. Maybe this time I'll wake up and see my familiar ceiling. Just maybe. After he said that, he broke into tears. It only made sense to wait for him to settle down. You can even see that Heathcliff didn't know how to react in that situation, and usually he's the violence guy. Right. Give me a quick second to bounce over to excavation.
불청객의 대응을 완료했습니다.
I'm just doing this so I can gather a bunch of these tickets. I didn't mean to do all that. Oh well, I can make good use of that. There we go. I'm still low enough manager level that I gain enough experience from doing these. Alright, how many of these do I have now? About 45, 43. The silvers, that's fine. If we need more level ups. 319, the bad dream, it's just pure combat. If you hear minor ruffling, it's because I have a bag of kisses in front of me.
먼지를 떨어내줘.
Honestly, I probably should have done a few of the... Actually, I don't know if I could skip the thread excavation because I haven't actually sat down and done that yet. You can't skip the grind dungeons until you've completed them at least once, which, you know, makes sense.
정해진 운명이라네. 결정, 해동, 초월. 지령에게 불확실한 것은 예측할 수 없게.
I will admit, you probably got... No, I don't... Actually, I don't think y'all got the that during the Canto 9 stream. I'm used to this game being a lot more chaotic, I guess is the best way to put it, because you might see Dante pop up in the corner from time to time with something to say. The game has different battle announcers, and basically for any action you take in combat, someone will pipe up and comment on it. And I'm used to having quite a few cycling through, so I'm kind of used to getting chewed out by like Greg and Sinclair and stuff like that. But only having Dante means this game is a lot quieter. It might be for the best, but it's kind of silly. I'm just so used to everyone chattering my ears off.
이제 다음 시련만 넘어서면
Because...
본인 또한
Can I even change that?
나를
Right, I have Lehang. I forgot about that. I have Lehang.
된다면 본인은 더 이상
I'm not gonna equip him because, yeah, not worth having Lehang there. Alright.
파우스트가 맞이하죠.
We entered the charred mansion, and Sinclair led us to the basement. When he opened the door, a long underpass leading to an unknown destination was revealed to us. To think there'd be a tunnel down here.
아마
So,
제 짐작이
if my
맞는다면
guess is
이
right,
통로가
then this passage should lead to the branch facility.
지하실에 대체 왜
Why are you
이런
keeping
수상한
this
공간이 있는
shifty shaft in your basement?
원래는 없었어요.
It wasn't here before.
거야? 뭐?
어,
그럼 우리
Then
어떻게 알고
how'd
지하실로
you
안내한
know
거야?
we ought to go to the basement?
나침반이 북쪽 방향에 이끌리듯이
It's like how magnetic fields
그냥
draw a
느낌으로
compass
알수
needle
있었던
northward.
것뿐이에요.
I was brought here by intuition.
그거 아니었나요?
Isn't that what it is?
저희를 가지를 향한
Bringing us
나침반으로
along to
쓰려고
use as
데리고
sensors
다니는
for the
거.
bows.
Sinclair quietly looked at Faust. Instead of answering him, she strode past him and stood before the door.
재질을 보아하니
Judging from the
비교적
material,
최근에 만들어진
this
것
tunnel
같군요.
seems to have been made relatively recently.
아마
It was likely dug by Incorp's expedition and Airy forces when they had occupied the town.
짧은 길은 아닐
It
거예요.
won't be a short trip. Given that this passage was excavated for their use, we will assuredly run into foes on the way.
답은 준비되었으면 출발하죠.
We should move once we are ready.
그렇게 쳐다보지 마세요.
Don't give me
단테.
that look, Dante.
저는
I am simply
아무 말도 할수
not in the
없을
position
뿐이에요.
to comment on it. Basically, Faust will not answer questions that she is not allowed to answer, and she will answer questions she is allowed to answer. It is merely up to Faust's discretion what she is not allowed to answer.
결정. 책임. 좋아. 지령에게 불확실한 것은 없네.
이쪽으로.
Excuse me. Also, I guess since it's one of those things that generally will not be brought up in the game itself, obviously, in terms of literary references for Emile Sinclair, they more or less significantly reduce the size of his family. I don't want to say significantly, but it's notable. Because I believe in the book, Sinclair is actually more of middle to young child, because I think he had at least 2 older sisters. I don't know if he had, like, a younger sister, but he at least had 2 other sisters. And it was more or less, for the sake of this, combined down to only 1 sister.
간다.
Just kind of a minor storytelling thing. It ultimately doesn't mean
fair.
much. And also, I guess in terms of literary references, it is probably safe to assume that Kromer is not her first name, but is more of her family name. Again, this game is Korean, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're following basically, for the most part, specific naming conventions if they can get away with it. Because in the book, Kromer is usually only referred to as Kromer, I believe. But by all
Cromer's also a man in the book, if I remember correctly.
correct, and specifically his name is Franz. So it wouldn't be odd to assume that this Cromer's name is also Franz, probably short for Franziska, but also knowing the series, it probably is just Franz. Because gender blender names is kind of commonplace in this series, so... So it's hard to say what Cromer's name is, but it's also kind of the case of Sinclair is usually only referred to as Sinclair when it wouldn't be wrong to just call him Emil, but I guess it's a slightly more professional setting, so calling him Sinclair makes sense. And then there's also the case of Isang, to which, by all technicality, Isang is his full name? So, like, technically, if you ever wanted to refer to him by just his first name, his name would just be Sang. But basically, no one ever calls him that. It's always referring to him solely as Isang. And it's kind of one of those weird incongruities that Sinclair is only referred to as last name, but we call Isang by full name. But then you have Roja and Gregor, for basically copyright reasons, are never referred to by their full names because of translation issues and stuff like that, because safe to assume his full name is Gregor Samsa? But basically, to not get their asses sued, they have more or less hidden the fact that his name may or may not be Gregor Samsa. Same thing with Rodion Raskolnikov. It's probably safe to assume that her last name is Raskolnikov, or I guess Raskolnikova, question mark. But she is simply referred to as Rodion. Most anyone else, if they have a different name they're going under that we know of, that does get confirmed later on. But, Merceau is just Merceau. Like, we don't actually know if that's his first or last name. But that's because in The Stranger, no one ever calls him anything besides Monsieur or Merceau. He is simply only called Merceau. He's kind of silly like that. But then again, it is, again, one of those curious things, since we're kind of in a low moment, that generally, commonly, in terms of the fan spaces, everyone usually refers to Don Quixote as just Don, even though Don is a title, not her name. Like, her name is
Yeah, now
Quixote.
that you mention it.
Yeah, Don means sir. Like, her name is not Don, her name is Quixote. It's just that usually if we have to quickly refer to her, we just call her Dawn, because that gets the point across and it sounds close enough. But no, her name is Quixote. Thus, it is technically more correct to refer to her as Don Quixote, Sir Quixote, but it is just kind of one of those weird things. Faust is simply Faust. Like, I don't think it's a case of that is Faust's last name or anything, because in terms of the literary Faust, it is actually Dr. Johannes Faust. Like, Faust is his surname. But as far as I could tell, Faust's name is Faust. And then Heathcliff is the most simple of them all. His name's just Heathcliff. Dude don't got a last name. That's for rich people. And that's only partially a joke. Because, like, that is just simply how it goes in Wuthering Heights, is that even though he was more or less formally adopted by the Earnshaw family, he was not Heathcliff Earnshaw. He was just Heathcliff. And even after he got married to Isabella Linton, he was not Heathcliff Linton or anything. He was still just Heathcliff. And then from then on was simply referred to as Mr. Heathcliff. And in fact, it kind of created the entire thing with his son, Linton. Yes, it gets confusing. That his name was Linton Heathcliff because he took the Heathcliff and made it essentially his last name, because he was son of Heathcliff. Names are very silly in Wuthering Heights, because you have Catherine Earnshaw and Catherine Linton, but then there's also Catherine Linton the second, because Catherine Earnshaw became Catherine Linton. And then and she was married to Edgar Linton, to which then Heathcliff named his son Linton, just because, so it's Linton Heathcliff. And things just are all over the place in that book, and it's kind of hilarious.
Harry, I'm gonna put something in general chat.
Sure.
거기까지 위험 요소
안.
제거.
Oh, wait. Shit, that's not the correct server.
Wait.
Whatever. It was just the thing of Patrick short-circuiting.
No, like, that's an actual thing people actually have a problem with reading Wuthering Heights, is keeping track of which characters. Like, basically, they tried to... Dawn, please shush your mouth. Basically, the book does try to keep the characters somewhat, understandable, because it is pretty cleanly divided between the first generation and second generation, so there's not really too many points where you get Catherine the First confused with Catherine the Second. And Edgar Linton and Linton Heathcliff do not coexist, basically, at all.
So it sounds like we're talking about queens or something.
I mean, it's a noble family from Yorkshire.
You know what? Yeah, sorry, dumb comment.
Like, they're literally high-class people from Yorkshire. That kind of answers most of the non-questions. And it's really only technically those two, because again, Linton Heathcliff is Heathcliff's son, but basically he's got very little prominence in the book, like, because I think straight up he died. So, like, he's barely in the book at all. So you only have to deal with, basically, Nellie, Heathcliff, Catherine II, Hareton, and there's mentions of Edgar Linton, Isabella Linton, and Hindley. Like, basically anyone that isn't physically present in the book is only referenced in flashback. The only other character that appears in Good Luck is Joseph, and I say good luck because he's got one hell of a thick accent. Like, nobody understands him, not even in universe. Anyway, Branch KO2, we are finally at the goddamn dungeon, and I should probably level up my Sinclair. Because, I will be trying to bring Sinclair into the fight. Actually, I might level up everyone to at least level 27. For safety reasons, because the level cap from this chapter was level 30. So it's probably safe to put them almost to level 30 for anyone that's going to be primary. Actually, I might also go get those threads so I can level up Sinclair, but we'll see. Because, have I done... No, I have not. Eh. We'll do it this way. Yeah, they recommend level 30.
거 없어. 바로 간다.
We'll live! The branch facility we entered was not as well preserved as the one we had visited in District 4. It seems N-Corp's Inquisitors have been using this place as their base for a while. Various torture devices and bits of flesh and machinery like those we saw in town came into my sight. Please, stop. It hurts. It hurts so much. This one speaks of suffering. It must be a false cry. Pay it no mind. No, the pain. It's real. I swear. Did it not hurt to attach these impurities to your flesh? Did your conscience not scream as you rejected your humanity? Enough. This one is too far gone to repent. Does the absence of tears not say enough? This one is only pretending to confess. No, wait, I can shed tears. I beg you, please. We can afford to verify, can we not? Indeed, for a genuine effusion of sorrow suggests humanity. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, we shall lift your eye. Their heretical depravity knows no bounds. They've gone so far as to make vile devices that mimic tear glands. We must see with our own true eyes that this isn't the case. We will let you go if we can confirm that your eye socket's indeed of flesh and blood. No! Stop! Stop! You heretics truly are like pests. Never alone, with a habit of constantly obstructing our great task. You're kindred creatures indeed. Rhodia shrugged when I looked back. What? I want to take charge for once.
I mean, she probably saved that guy's life.
Possibly. Hard to say.
So, what do you mean earlier regarding what's his nuts when you said hold that thought?
Yes. You know what? We can take a brief point since we just entered the dungeon. Basically, I think it gets confirmed later on. So this is kind of a bit of a minor spoiler warning. But we do in fact have a announcer or an identity for Merceau based off of him. The N-Corp Grossama. He basically
So it's implied he was
much the
same.
same.
What he hates.
He is not machine, but rather he is hooked up to some sort of device provided by K-Corp that basically, if you remember the K-Corp ampules that were mentioned early in the Kanto that can restore someone's vitality and flesh, that is what Gido and N-Corp Merceau are hooked up to. Basically, as long as that thing is attached to their face and nothing happens to their head, they are undying. They're not mechanical. This gets explained in Canto 4, so I'm not going to get too much into it. But
This is just seeming like these assholes are even bigger hypocrites than I thought.
Welcome to the city where hypocrisy reigns supreme.
So it's literally just, oh, it's fine if we do it, but if anyone else does it, we're going to burn you at the stake.
Again, it is a case of that it's not a mechanical prosthesis as much as basically being permanently hooked up to an IV that restores your own body at a accelerated rate. That is the key difference.
I mean, I get the difference, but still.
Again, is one of those kind of things that is like, no, it sounds about as stupid as you think it is. Alright. I'm probably not going to explore this entire place because this place is fucking huge. But, welcome to the K-Corp, LabCorp branch. This is where they kind of start getting experimental with the dungeon layouts. Because there's going to be a lot of, like, little crevices and secret paths you can take.
시작한다. 끝나.
Home run for Heathcliff.
Home run contest!
I mean, that's just what I call it whenever Heathcliff either staggers something or kills something with upheaval. I just call it a home run. Is he practicing proper baseball technique? Hell no. But it don't matter. Are you gonna question Heathcliff?
Albie, you've all gotten better at fighting, haven't you?
A faint voice calls to us from the corner. What? Sod was resting against a wall, exhausted. She was covered in bites and gnawings left by the Pecatula. Are you alright? Can you get up easily? Sod could barely talk, let alone stand on her feet. She slowly began to speak, each word filled with pain.
Effie, how is he? Alive? Yeah. You must have met outside.
Everyone is hesitant to answer Sod's desperate question. How could any of us inform her of the morbid state Effie was in and how he had to put him out of his misery? Yes, he's doing fine now. Hung Lu answered quietly. No sinner came forward to elaborate. That's enough chatter. It seems more of those oddities are crawling our way. A swarm of Pecatula approached us. It was as though our guilt about lying to her had gained physical form.
파우스트가 맞이하죠.
Yep, this is where we are first introduced to Pecatulum luxuriae, lust, and Pecatulum superbiae, pride. Honestly, the observation logs for these things are actually pretty good. Honestly, I will say in terms of media, these are probably the most interesting physical depictions of sins I have ever seen.
I mean, that one looks like, the Ophium, kind of. So, I mean, or like the...
No, I know what you
Real?
mean about an Ophanim. Oh, about the Ophanim. It's not too out of place, I would say, because of shenanigans.
I mean, then we have that big grub-looking thing that looks like an enemy from like an N64 Zelda game.
There's a machine in this dilapidated room. A long, bulky lever is at the center of the machine, adorned with springs. The urge to pull it is growing stronger and stronger. What will you do? Use the machine. 50% chance for positive effect, 50% chance for negative. In fact, let's go gambling! Putting a spontaneous thought into action is as impulsive and uninhibited as a child reaching for off-limits marshmallows. When you pull down the lever, a clack follows soon after. The springs began to turn, some slow, some quick. Some clockwise,
What?
others counterclockwise.
Want a marshmallow? I have a bag sitting on my table.
Maybe. Watching the machine's rumble grow wilder, you feel anxious. 50% chance to gain an EGO. Failure results in HP and SP damage. Let's go gambling. The machine stopped at last. Huh, would you look at that? A small wooden chest rose from the floor. You carefully opened it to find a bundle of torches. It's not much, but they should give you monetary relief in the dark. Take the torches out of the room. Start the next 3 battles with 3 haste expires afterwards. You see
Big win!
Basically. You see a large gate in the distance. There's something eerie about the pointed fences and stone walls. It looks to be the only way through this area, but it's guarded by a large number of inquisitors. Is there anything we could do about them? Strike them from behind. Run a pride check, then begin a combat encounter. Pass and buff all allies and reduce the number of waves by 1. Distract them. Run a lust check, then begin a combat encounter. Pass to reduce the number of waves by 2. Confront them directly. Begin a combat encounter with all 3 waves. Distract them. You might be able to distract them by making some noise. Problem is how to go about it.
But I have a plan.
Might as well hear her out. You're not sure if it's the best idea exactly, but it might not hurt either.
What have we got to lose? Our heads.
We have a Heathcliff. As long as he actually rolls
I
it.
thought you were gonna say we have a Dante.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Hong Lu's basically impossible to win quote.
I just remembered that I had urgent business to take care of.
Hong Lu, what the fuck do you have to be doing right now? like, what kind of excuse is Hong Lu's?
I have something else I need to be doing right now.
What the fuck is Hong Lu got to do? Alright, Heath, roll one.
I just remember I have to go deflavorize my flavorizer.
Basically, but there's no flavorizer at all. Heathcliff made his move. Wait, is that...
That'd be the
Hey,
raid
we should take
message.
There's no flavorizer?
Yeah.
Well, think about it. The Inquisitors guarding the gate left their post to investigate the source of the noise.
So that the diversion returned. 'Tis exactly as I spake. A plan without flaw from conception to conclusion.
The mastermind proudly proclaims. Honestly, didn't expect it to work this well. We'll be able to pass once we've dealt with the remaining Inquisitors. I mean, hey, win the next battle to gain EGO gift a sign.
너 왜 뿌듯해 보이냐? 내가 해낸 건데.
I love Heathcliff's response. What's with that proud look? I'm the one that did it. Because it actually sounds like he's responding to Dawn in that instance, and it's like, why you look so happy I had to do this? Only had to deal with one wave of enemies this time. It's basically not until I think Kanto 5 or 6 that we move away from waves of enemies to just there's a fuck ton of enemies. Functionally, there's no difference. It's just the presentation of them is slightly different.
Oh, you're a villain, just not a super one. Oh yeah? What's the difference? Presentation.
Is this the point where I mentioned that I've never seen that movie? I know of it. I know the memes. I've just never watched it.
It's decent. Like the first one, I'd say is maybe worth watching. The second one is trash.
I didn't even know there was a second one, I'll be honest.
It came out, I think, a year or two ago. It was bad.
Oh,
I heard.
that honestly would probably answer many of the questions if it's that
Like,
reason.
really, really bad.
Mwah. Oh, nope, he's
Yeah,
back
no,
again.
I have seen the first one. It's actually not bad for what it is.
I heard that familiar yet ominous sound of a nail being dragged across the floor from not too far away. Manager, if I may be forward, I would suggest soon including steps in your combat protocol to confirm that our foes are dead. The thought of his return makes what hair I have stand on end. Ye heretics must be exterminated. How long have you been? Godot approaches at a slower gait than before, but his gaze is firmly
He's still
fixed
not
on
dead?
him. Nope. And the rest.
Oh yeah,
shall
the
be
reviver.
purified. Yeah, basically, you kind of have to destroy this guy's head. I needed to rewind the clock. Most of the sinners were either dead or gravely injured. There was no way an effectively non-combatant manager and someone barely holding on to her life could take him.
Sod, please stop.
Just then, Sod pulled out a gun. She pointed the barrel at me.
I need you to keep still. The moment you try to turn that clock, my gun will blow off your head.
Sod?
Don't look at me like that. I can't hear you. But I can tell you this. They promised to let Effie go. If I help to get rid of you.
시간을
Or
지나치게
let too
오래
much
끌-
time pass.
They should not have lied.
Godot comes to me and grabs me by the neck. Then he grips my head tightly with his other hand as if to crush it. Creaks, cracks, and rattles ring inside my head. His fingers being inches away from shattering my head terrifies me. Is this it? Is this how I die? Could this have turned out differently if I was a better manager? I remember Heathcliff menacingly asking if there was a way to open up my head so he could see what's inside. Tough luck, Heathcliff. You'll be missing out on a good show. I heard a sound. It was the sound of something breaking. Fortunately for me, it didn't come from my head. Godot staggers. A nail was lodged in his back, and Sinclair was gasping for breath behind him. He was nearly unconscious, lying still until moments ago. It's a miracle that he managed to get up and do this. I could escape Godot's grasp thanks to him. Godot stood firm despite Sinclair's desperate attack. He collected his breath and slowly turned around.
그렇군.
I see.
그들 또한
You too are a filthy heretic.
너희들
You're
다 미쳤어.
all insane.
제정신이
Out
아니야.
of your minds.
지는
The
자께서
one who grips had once said
그대도 또한
that you could have become the
지는 자일
one
수
as well.
있었다고. 그러나
You know, I just
What a
thought what
shame.
the ultimate punishment for these guys would be.
Hmm?
Force them to live in the bodies that they hate.
I often see fan art from time to time doing that to Cromer. Not as much
Oh,
anymore.
ooh,
Ah.
I need to look this up.
Yeah, I've seen a bit of it from time to time with Cromer. I don't remember if it's strictly as punishment or just kind of as a, you know what'd be funny kind of situation. But I have seen, like, Cromer at least with prosthetics.
쉬는 방향이 잘못되었군.
You grip with the wrong direction. Sinclair, run away. I can't help you.
아니요.
No,
이제
I'm not running anymore.
좋은 대답이네요.
Like that answer, Sinclair.
Gunfire filled my ears, but the bullet struck Godot's head.
스스로
You
멸망에
Bring
이르는
ruination
자들이여,
upon yourselves.
망치는
The hammer shall
계속해서
continue to pursue you.
그대들을
With those words, Godot fell to the floor, motionless. And in that hush, I heard her handgun drop to the floor. Sod,
해피는 역시
Effie,
죽었죠.
he's dead, isn't he?
당신들은
You're
허술해요.
all terrible liars.
거짓말을 하려면
At least trying to make
좀
it somewhat
그럴듯한 표정이나
believable.
갖추던가요.
소드 씨.
come on, Sod.
지혈 좀 하고
Let's get out of
그러면은
here.
괜찮을
You'll
거야.
be okay. Just gotta stop the bleeding and get you patched up.
맞아요. 제가
Right,
절대를 챙겨.
I'll get a tourniquet.
Ow.
무슨 말을 하는 거예요?
Don't be
제대로
stupid.
움직이기도
I can-
힘든데.
I can hardly lift a finger.
더군다나
Besides,
신문관들은
those
계속
critters will
올
keep
텐데요.
on coming, won't they?
당신들은
You guys
계속
need to keep moving
내려가야
down.
제가
I'll hold them off
여기
here.
맡을 겁니다.
You should go.
어떻게?
You can't.
그래요?
You can't do that.
제대로 움직이기도
You said yourself that you can hardly lift a finger.
뒤를 맡기겠어요?
Can't let you watch our backs when you're in such a mess. Please?
저기
In moments like this, you're supposed to just nod at me and be on your way.
되는 거랍니다. 격 떨어지게
You care so much about the one who volunteered to stay behind.
그치만
You can't just...
You're
making this pretty awkward, you know that? Here, I thought I could have a cool farewell.
파우스트,
Faust,
얼른 이 멍청이들
please take these
데리고
absolute
가줘요.
dorks out of here.
베르길리우스 씨한테는
I'll make sure to give Virgilius your regards.
안 보는 모습.
No need.
인사나 한번 와달라고
Just tell him
했잖아요.
to come visit and say hello
무슨 뜻인지
someday.
알죠?
You know what I mean?
네.
Of course.
We headed for the next area, leaving Sod to die. We all stayed silent for a long while. Sinclair's determination to stand up to Cromer. After 3 strokes have been drawn... Alright, if I remember correctly, the sealed door down here is technically a secret area. A steel door rests on one side of the room. It looks too thick to be easily broken or breached with force.
There's got to be something totally valuable through here if it's got it this tight.
The sinner might be right. Treasure might be waiting behind the door. What should you do? I don't know. You might be Wrath. You're not Sloth. You're Gloom, probably. Wrath check. Open it with force. The steel is thick, but it might not be impossible for a sinner to move it ajar. It would be the right person. Oh, but you'd have to get all of them done. You'd also have to get all 3. He, bad. You'd have to get 3. Let's go with Greg. There we go. Gregor pushed at the door with all his might. The door shook little by little but refused to give way. Alright, you've done enough. I tried to get him to stop, but Gregor kept on pushing, fully focused on the door. After some time... There! The door was opened. Path was hidden behind it. New path on the map.
마음에 드시나?
Forgotten passage.
천천히 가자니까.
Alright. These fuckers.
That doesn't sound good.
먼지를 떨어내줘.
Proceeding Inquisitor and everything there of an Inquisitor. They're about as annoying as they are ugly. That's going to hurt. Copies a skill that hit this unit. Deal 10 XP. Heath, you're gonna focus on that guy.
먼지를 떨어내줘.
Basically, their counter is just stupid annoying because it'll copy however many coins you threw at them. Alright, that guy is currently out of commission. I'll have Ishmael deal with that. I guess have Heath as well. Alright, one good smack out of dodge to probably kill this guy. Oops, didn't mean to click on that. Didn't mean to click on that. No, I did, actually. Oh yeah, I forgot that Heathcliff writes the abnormality log for these things. Oh yeah, the fact that Heathcliff is like, I have no idea what the fuck is wrong with these guys' arms. Hey Greg, it looks like yours. Great. That doesn't mean I know anything about it. Old warehouse key used in certain events expires on use. Speaking of the warehouse, dozens of old broken crates litter the floor. Ugh. cobwebs. Clearing things away, you found 3 particularly large crates buried underneath. These are all locked. Looks like the keyholes have the same shape. Alas, the key is of soft constitution. It won't be feasible to use it again once it has been inserted into a lock. You only get 1 try. EGO that boosts defense, boosts tremor, boosts bleed. Well, I'm not using tremor or bleed. Defense it is.
Oh, 'tis proper equipment of a knight, is it not?
One sinner excitedly rubs the helm clean. Not a bad haul, all things considered. We carried the helm, and our sinner infatuated by it, and left the room. 12th helm. Defense skill power +1. And now we can circle back in here
카우스트가 맞이하죠.
and get back on the main track.
이쪽으로.
필연적 절대적
거기까지.
붉은 먼지도 수명이 단정하지 않군요.
시작한다. 위험 녀석 제거.
결국은 이렇게 떨어지죠.
정해진 운명이라네.
쉽네.
Alright, I'm going to take a quick dip into this torture chamber. Always a good start to a conversation.
Which part's the torture chamber at this point?
Yeah. The Incorp Inquisitors were busy torturing someone. A filtered scream fills the cramped room. Their victims are people with prosthetic bodies. Sinclair didn't utter a word, but his eyes, full of wrath and fear, were fixated on the torturers. He breathed heavily at irregular intervals, his body shaking. He looked like he might charge forth at any second. Do you stop him, or... Alright. Stop the torture, run a wrath check, then begin a combat encounter. Use Sinclair for the check to gain a sign, pass to weaken all enemies. Or, wait for it to end and he loses SP. Let's try it. We may not be valiant knights, but even casting morals aside, we will have to fight to move on. Do you really mean it? When you explained your plan to Sinclair, he looked back at you with surprise. I thought you would stop me. He spoke anxiously, but he seemed nevertheless happy with the decision. Got it. I'll do it. Sinclair sprinted to where the Inquisitors were alongside the other sinners. That gives him a quick boost of 30 SP. Dawn also gains 10 SP because this is an act of justice. Heretics. The heretics have appeared. As the sinners approach, the Inquisitors cast their victims aside to charge at us. Bastards! Sinclair stood at them at the forefront, but that hammer might be too big for Sinclair's weapon to stop. He'd have to get both, but he has 30. I'm gonna risk it with Sinclair and see what happens. Nope. He asked Sinclair to deflect an attack, but the motion of the giant hammer couldn't be stopped. The Inquisitors surrounded Sinclair, who was now on the back foot. We have to fight on with this disadvantage. I probably will have to do some exploring around because I am trying to get the EGO gift that is part of this dungeon. But we shall see, because there's multiple places you can get it. So it's not a total loss that I didn't get this one.
이쪽으로.
필연적 절대적
거기까지.
Nice job.
제거.
Alright.
이제 간다.
We've made up for Sinclair's bad roll, at least.
위험 요소 제거.
결정. 해도 좋아해.
Alright, so we've dealt with that. Everyone's reset and healed. Blockade zone. Yeah, I'm just gonna go straight to the blockade and hate my life.
이번에도 치령의 뜻은 본인과 같군.
어디서
You hear
힘이
beasts
뛰어다니는
crawling around
소리
somewhere?
들리지 않아?
Certainly is the sound of something moving along the floor.
저것들도
Are
환상층.
those abnormalities?
자세히 봐요.
Take a closer
환상체가
look.
아니에요.
They aren't abnormalities. See that emblem? Ishmael whispered softly to us. Upon closer inspection, I could spot the emblems she mentioned. They were the ones worn by the Inquisitors.
에고 침식 현상이군요.
EGO corrosion has rested them.
그
You
기분
mean
나쁜
that
상태를 말하는 건가?
nauseating state?
전투 중에
I
I think it happened to me in battle once when I was on the verge of a breakdown.
왠지
It was like I was
잡아먹히는 것
being
같다고
devoured.
할까요?
Note, this obviously happens regardless whether or not you have EGO that can corrode. It's basically just an explanation for the phenomena you can experience in-game. I don't have anything that can corrode except on Faust, and I haven't used it yet. But bear in mind, they don't account for that, obviously. Because Space EGO cannot corrode. Anyways,
우자구적 씹혀 먹히는 것
No,
같네요.
it's not quite like consumption in the conventional sense.
본질을 좀
I do
먹어가는
suppose that it is a
생각하면
serviceable analogy,
괜찮은 표현이에요.
seeing as it eats away at your essence.
그리고 이 장소는
And in
아까처럼
observation, unlike the last
의지를
floor,
고문만 하는
this
장소가
place
아닌
doesn't
것
seem to
같아요.
be exclusively for torturing prosthesis users.
스스로 침식을
It would be fair to say that its purpose is to induce corrosion unto oneself.
타당하겠군요.
staring at those beings stumbling about, it evoked complex feelings that made me sigh. Is my artificial head really worth raging over? So much so that they would transform themselves into something far more hideous than having a clock for a head? Choosing to lose themselves, being possessed. What about when they claim the Golden Bough after going to these lengths? Will it even be used for their benefit? Then it occurred to me. Am I really so different from those unsightly zealots? When I'm searching for the Golden Boughs without even knowing what they'll be used for? I don't know, I think I'd prefer Clock per Head to this. Let's see, that's aiming at Ishii. And then those guys can take care of that.
이제 간다.
Yeesh. Basically something that isn't perfectly explained in that cutscene, but is something to note that EGO corrosion is basically the act of turning into an abnormality, like in of itself.
I see.
Like that is just straight up what that is. I'm going to use Fluid Sac.
먼지를 떨어내.
Hope it does something good for us. So basically, these guys are more or less 1 or 2 steps away from just straight up being whatever abnormality they were corroding from. Even to this day, we don't actually know what abnormality this creature is. It's never been explained.
이 전투는 승리.
At least with everything there, we assume that it is some offshoot abnormality of the everything there from Lobotomy Corp. But these things, we have no idea what they are.
미래를 과거와 같이.
Yeah, I forgot these things are rude, that they have more attacks than I have sinners.
먼저 간다.
Okay, Dawn, it's dead. It's dead, lass. Greg. Greg! Thank you, buddy. Ishmael will be fine.
먼저 간다.
내 뒤로. 거기까지. 위험 요소.
Good job, Greg.
제거.
Alright. Bit of a checkpoint area, but there's not really much I can do. Alright. Welcome to the second floor. Because I only have one part of the sign. The thing is, I don't remember if there's 2 points in this floor. I think there is. Let's go north.
이게 끌거 없어.
I'm going to regret it, but I'm gonna go north. Ah, Pekatula.
예측할 수 없게.
최종 위험 요소. 제거.
묵은 먼지도 먼지를 떨어내줘. 즉시 퇴거하시지요.
And they're already dead. Let's see here. Closed prayer ring. What's this soda? The sinners frowned at the olfactory assault. Following their eyes, you find an inquisitor collapsed on the floor. Definitely dead. The smell must be coming from the rotting corpse. While everyone else was hesitant to approach, you see something sparkle. Seems to be something amidst the writhing manes. What will you do? Examine it. Run a gluttony check. A sinner easily enticed by trinkets and baubles would probably be willing to dig through this morbid mess to take the item. On the other hand, someone uninterested in such things will not be happy to do this order. Ryoshu, you technically had the best shot. God damn it, Ryoshu. The more the corpse was ransacked, the more Ryoshu retched. This won't be worth pursuing further. Telling Ryoshu when she did her best, we left the room.
내 탓 아니다. 허접한 장비만 뿌려댄 윗놈들 탓이지. 버틀러 차원 가방 준비 완료했습니다.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's kind of the main issue with checkpoints, is that usually the event notes a little harder than they should be, just because everything gets reset. And I'm not exactly... I only reset checkpoints sometimes if shenanigans are shenaniganing too hard.
위험 요소. 제거.
Alright, I am going to go down to the room with echoing screams first. You hear snappy mechanical noises through the closed door. Sounds like a cry for help. As you focus your attention, you begin to hear footsteps. Steel. Those are clangs of steel. Sinclair froze. Looks like an Inquisitor is coming for them. What will you do? Free the prosthetic. Sinclair jumped in as soon as you told him what to do. As you expected, a number of prosthetic people were bound by ropes. As soon as he untied them, they hurriedly ran out of the room. They were a little late to leave, the Inquisitor shouted as they entered the room. Seems conflict is unavoidable. Alright, so this is another chance for Osai.
파우스트가 맞이하죠.
Basically, future chapters more or less make these story important EGO gifts basically not impossible to miss, but they certainly make it a lot harder.
I see.
먼지를 떨어내.
This one you actively have to kind of go out of your way to get all 3 pieces. They do give you multiple chances at least, but it is kind of a case of that if you just rush through here, it's kind of easy to not get all 3 parts. Basically, Kanto 3 is kind of the end of the early game weirdness, where they kind of finally started being not consistent, but you could tell they were still very much experimenting with stuff early on in the game.
I mean, that's fair. That's normal for any game, especially a gacha, even a quote soft gacha. I'd say this, given the practices, I'd say it can be classified as probably a soft gacha or softer.
It's definitely softer because obviously there's still quite a bit of incentive to
먼저 간다.
paying, especially now with so many units and so many of them so game breaking, like for the
Like
early game.
not as soft as say Kanai Collection, but not as predatory as say like Nikkei or Efko or something.
I can't say too much about EFCO, but it is definitely a case of it. Like, you can see that these are units I've basically lucked into. And bearing in mind
You've
that
got
one of
some
them is...
cracked luck rolls.
Well, to be fair, one of them, Dawn, is kind of, you know... She's a Kanto 9 unit, so, like, obviously she's a lot stronger. But that is bearing in mind that, Kanto 9 added an update that allows you to see, like, the kinds of teams people are bringing into stuff. And I don't have her. I can grab her. I haven't been using her. Is N-Corp Faust. She's a fucking Season 1 unit and people still use her consistently. So it's a case of old units are not bad, but it is a case of new units are definitely going to be stronger, but most units still have their niche uses from time to time. Like,
Yeah.
no one is completely outclassing someone else. Is it more worth using, like, Dawn Office Sinclair? Yeah, it's probably more worth it if you happen to have him, but, like, he's not an end-all be-all unit. Like, there are going to be situations he's useless. So you will have to have backup units. And there is someone that I know is going through this entire game only with the base LCB.
Yeah, I heard about them.
Yeah, and it's like, they only really started experiencing a lot of roadblocks in Kanto 6. And afterwards. Like, last I had checked, they had managed to get up to LCE checkup, which is 7.5. So it's like, this, you can get through the game with practically anything if you're competently leveled. But, alright. Game number 2. Bridge of Supportation. Oh yeah, this event! I forgot about this. This is an interesting one I'll comment on in a second. The passage was red hot. Eesh, that melted my shoes. The sinners carefully approached the road, only to retreat from the overwhelming heat. Something was written on the sign in front of the passage. Prove your humanity, and through weakness and separation, see your path with mobilization. It took no time at all to figure out what that meant. What will you do? Present the N-Corp seal. So if I had passed the check with the creature thingy, I could just skip over this event entirely. But I don't, so. Tread the heated path, run a wrath check, pass to gain an EGO gift, failing begins a 3-wave combat encounter. Look for another wave, 50% chance for a 3-wave encounter. Let's check the wrath check. It won't work. Too many Inquisitors are guarding the other route. We had a sinner scout the perimeter, and it looks like this is the path of least resistance. Someone with a burning will might be able to bear this pain.
Oh shit! Hang on.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I would practically have to roll all of them. Her chances are low, but... I will wait for Dark to get back before I comment on the very interesting thing about this event. Success rate normal. Thank you. Does no one else have Wrath? Oh, you just straight up don't have a chance, because you'd have to roll both and you're at 0. You have no Wrath. Your coins suck. You don't have Wrath. You'd have to roll both. You'd have to roll both. You're not Wrath. You're not Wrath. So it is Faust is my best chance. Also, I guess I will just put this down for anyone that is watching live or otherwise. I do have a channel reward set up that is exceedingly easy for anyone to grab. Apparently Twitch has stupid things about people who just kind of come in, turn it on, and leave it. You can just spend this, and apparently it helps count your view towards the stream. It is literally 1 channel point. Might as well click it anytime you come into a stream. It's kind of just a courtesy to make sure your view gets counted. Because
Wait,
reasons.
what's going
I
on?
was taking the low moment to explain that if you have a stream open, some people have set up a reward point or reward for channel points that only costs 1 that just quote activates lurk mode that basically tells Twitch, hey, I'm here, count my view.
Ah.
So I have one of those set up just kind of as a case. But anyway, I want to point out something very interesting about the current event is, ignoring the fact that everyone is practically guaranteed to fail this anyway, you may note that Dawn is suddenly very quiet. She is guaranteed to fail. I will not elaborate.
Hey. No, it won't work. There's too many.
No, it was the thing down at the bottom. Basically, running on hot coals. Dawn is 100% always guaranteed to fail this event. I will not elaborate on why, but until Canto...
Is it for why I'm thinking?
Yes. Because until about Canto 6.5, you could use Dawn for this event with no repercussions. After Canto 6.5 became relevant, it was changed. Again, I will not say why, because that is technically a major spoiler. Anyway, Faust ran across the heated road on bare feet. The others frowned at the rancid stench of burning flesh. Groaning with agony, Faust made it to the other side. An altar with a red seal and a lever rose before them. When Faust pulled the lever, the road quickly cooled. The rest of us were able to tread the path safely. She takes 20 damage, loses 20 SP. EGO gift token of innocence. For the identity that undertook the rite, boost the power of Wrath skills by 2. Not bad, she does happen to have a Wrath skill. Alright. Altar of Penance and Altar of Tears. I might have to still visit both of these, but I'm gonna go down here first. Meditator's Bridge. You see a pedestal adorned with the engravings of a nail and hammer. Must have something to do with N-Corp. Cinder mutters and you agree. She tried to get some info on N-Corp or... examine the book. Upon the pedestal was a tome of N-Corp Inquisitors were often seen carrying. You can take this chance to peek at a few pages of it. Ugh. The indecipherable content only gave you a headache. You decide to hold on to it for now and read it later. The Nagul and Hammer Scriptures. When using a Pride skill, gain or lose 5 SP but boost its damage by 5%. Can be slightly annoying, perhaps in the long run, but I don't think I have too many Pride skills. No, I'm not using any Pride at all.
파우스트가 맞이하죠.
Or I'm using very, very little. Hello, you fucks.
이쪽으로.
Also, I guess something I will note about the clashing mechanic. It is exceedingly rare. Like, you have to be trying. If the game ever gets to a point where two combatants get to a clash of 99, it just cancels the skill. It basically just cancels the clash. Like, I forget if it registers it basically as an enemy hit, or if it just is like, gives up. But it's a case of, if you ever get to a point of a clash 99, you have basically just wasted your time. It is really, really rare to get anything higher than a clash 7. But it's not impossible. It's a little harder nowadays due to the different coin numbers everyone has, but like, I've seen it happen, it's kind of funny. I think my record for Clash is about 12, 13, maybe even as high as 15 before. But like, that was a case of, I think enemy had max chance of rolling whatever it is, and I had max chance of rolling heads or something, and basically we were both waiting for that 5% chance to proc. Like, that's just basically what that is at that point. Alright, Altar of Penance. A passage is written above a large gate. Only those who repent may find motion. Thorn yourself atone through flagation. I forget how that's pronounced. It looks like it wants us to impale ourselves on spikes. What will you do? Perform the rite. Run a wrath check, selected identity, lose HP, pass to get an Ichiga. Someone must step on the spikes and impale their own limbs. Dawn. Don Quixote stood on the spike-laden device. He quietly nodded when she looked back with trembling eyes. A terrible scream echoed through the hall. Soon enough, the door rumbled open. Inside, an orange sigil was waiting to be picked up. We took the sigil and ushered the impaled Don Quixote out of the hall. Token of Atonement. For the identity that undertook the raid, boost the power of lust skills by 2. Does she even have any lust skills? I don't remember. She does have lust. Okay. It's not a total waste.
파우스트가 맞이하죠.
Best, please start off with a fluid sac. Thank you. Because I just want a little bit of chip killing for everyone before I get up to the northern
이 전투는
node.
승리할 거예요.
Nice.
모든 나라의 결국은 이렇게 떨어지죠.
먼저 간다.
Alright. The Altar of Tears. This was definitely a roadblock for a long time in this dungeon. Four of the everything there / preceding Inquisitors.
먼지를 떨어내죠.
They are bastards. Ow. Alright, those guys are definitely gonna be annoying. Keith, do that. Gosh, you might have to do that and take a hit.
저 간다.
필연적 절대적
Ow.
야!
Alright, then I can ignore that guy for a second. Dawn. Spell's just too slow. Heathcliff. It's kind of the main issue of
내 뒤로.
not having a lot of EGO is just the fact that I lack AoE effects. Like, Faust is kind of my only source of AoEs right now.
I mean, yeah, that is annoying, I'd imagine.
Yeah, AoEs are slightly more common with more recent units, but it is kind of a case of, it's mostly EGO that, provides AoE effects.
어떠냐?
And out of the base, EGO of the Sinners, only Faust and Hong Lu start with, AoEs, because, like, Faust kind of by default has an attack weight 3, which means she'll attack 3 targets, or 3 slots. It's all kind of a interesting balancing game. You know what, I'll leave Dawn to deal with that guy.
예측할 수 없게
거기까지.
Excuse me.
흔들렸군. 미래를 과거와 같이
Alright, can ignore those two.
흔들렸군.
Basically, one of the biggest things to learn in this game is to pick your battles when it comes to counters. Because, that was kind of the big thing, with Canto 9 that I was dealing with, is just the one bastard who could take out my entire health bar with a single hit of his counter. Because he's a bitch! Just smack him one straight.
위험 요소.
Thank you.
제거.
끝나.
I just wanted to make sure Heathcliff actually killed with that, because are these guys resistant to blunt? No, they're just resistant to everything else. Yeah, Dawn, you'll be fine.
예측할 수 없게
Yeah, she took like no damage from that,
어떠냐?
because she resists slash damage. Here we go.
내 뒤로.
그 뜻을 해금하겠네.
Alright, those guys are taken care of. Now for something worse. Probably. An inscription above the closed gate reads, "Prove your terror and fears, fill this vessel with tears." Looking around, you find the supposed vessel next to an unpleasant-looking chair. What will you do? On the right. Let's go and check. It appears that sitting on the chair is how you begin the rite. What kind of rite it may be is unclear, but it's the only way to open the gate. Thanks. You're the best use of my gloom. Gregor sat on the chair. Dreadful screams filled the room. A constant stream of tears ran down Gregor's face. Soon enough, the bowl was full of tears. When it was placed on the altar at the door, the altar slid down, opening things up. Gregor's eyes were shaking. It's probably best not to ask what he saw. There's a sigil beyond the door. Taking the blue sigil, we left the room.
어때? 마음에 드시나?
Use the power of gloom skills by 2. But yeah, basically this node had been a pain in everyone's necks for the longest of times. Because that was the only real way to get to the Altar of Tears. Alright, the central area.
이게 끌 거 없어. 바로 간다.
If I remember right, when it came to the Altar of Tears, the first time I ever passed it was with Ryoshu, which has certainly become interesting as of most recent revelations. That's about all I can say for anyone that is only watching the challenge runs and isn't caught up on the story or anything. Canto 9 has got me thinking. That's about all I can say, really.
결국은 이렇게 떨어져줘.
예측할 수 없게.
꿈은 단정하지 않다. 결국은 이렇게 떨어져줘.
정해진 운명이라네. 정해진 운명이라네.
Crush them like bugs.
내 뒤로. 그 정도인가?
어떠냐?
내 뒤로. 위험 요소 제거.
정해진 운명이라네.
제거하시죠.
Geez, how many enemies are there? 11. Okay.
이쪽으로.
These should be the last ones.
꿈은 단정하지 않다. 꿈은 단정하지 않다.
정해진 운명이라네.
쉽네. 쉽네.
Alright. Pure Factory. You find a row of glass containers in a corner of the main area. Inside them are dried organs and pieces of life showing active movement. Tragic display. The containers can be opened easily. You could take one of the pieces if you want to. What will you do? Provides healing at low health. Provides power-ups at low health. Benefits after winning a clash. Let's go with the clash. The slithering tongue attracts your eyes. When you open the container and grab it, it flaps in your palm. You feel as though the tongue is mocking you, so you try to pick another one, but the other containers won't open. It seems you can only take one. You have to take your leave with the item you chose. Deal 10% extra damage in a one clash. hideously transformed N-Corp Inquisitors stood guard at the gate. You move to attack, but they don't appear to be hostile in any capacity. Only exceptional ones are allowed in this place. To pass, you will prove yourself worthy. You aren't exactly sure what they mean by proving yourself. What should you do? Let's see here. Only available at the N-Corp seal are all 3 tokens of Innocent, Tears, and Atonements are in possession. Run a lust check, or gain a sign, begin a difficult combat encounter. Present proof of passing the rites. You remembered what you've been collecting. If the things in your group went through were tests, then what we received must be the proof of your worth. You may pass. The Inquisitors opened the gate, wailing in bizarre voices. Take this with you. Receiving the item, we walk through the door. Basically, if you perform the rites, have the N-Corp seal, or win that combat encounter, you receive 1 guaranteed piece of the sign, as well as the Ritualist's Rite. Allies take -% damage from lust attacks. And I also really did not want to do that combat encounter against the Crawling Inquisitors. Those things suck. Path to the hollowed ground.
버틀러 차원 가방 준비 완료했습니다.
The Slithering Inquisitor! Even to this day, we don't know what the fuck this thing is made of either. We just know it is, snake. That's the only answer.
Snake!
We just know it's snake.
What happened?
예측할 수 없게.
거기까지.
Yeah. I remember way back in the beginning of this game when we first saw this thing, we were so certain that Gregor was going to get an identity based off of these things, but he never did. We did eventually get a snake-armed Gregor, but that wasn't until Canto 8. Basically, we thought Gregor would get one of these because Gregor has the running gag of something fucked up happening to his right arm. Like, usually it's either prosthetic or it's something else.
Okay, Dante, what's the patch notes say it's gonna be this time? They say it's gonna be a unicycle.
Weird even for me, but okay. Thankfully, it's never quite that weird. And I'm trying to think of like I said.
Actually, no, that could be a kind of kick-ass. Like you're just punching people and mowing them down with like a wheel on a stub.
I mean, not the weirdest thing to exist in the city, I guess, but like, in a general sense, I don't want to say it's the weirdest, but I think the 2 Gregor identities with the most interesting arms is Twin Hook Pirate, because he just has a hook, which honestly, I mean, if you're gonna give an identity to the guy who has a fucked up right arm, might as well give him a hook. It's the most normal ass thing for him to have.
Alright, Ishmael. Let's ahoy!
Get out of my face, Gregor. And then the only other one I'd say is kind of interesting is Rose Spanner Gregor, if only because his prosthetic is non-standard. Like, it doesn't look like a hand. Like, it is, like a kind of more of a claw. But that's only when he's not in combat.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not a proper hand. But then the more interesting part about Rose Spanner Greg is that very specifically, when in combat, his right arm is just a fucking chainsaw. Like, that's not even a joke. Also, hello, worst status effect in the game. Poison. Take fixed damage, then halve the count. But yeah, like, Rose Banner Gregor is one of my favorites when it comes to the wackiness that you can get away with Gregor's arms. Just because of the fact that they have an excuse to do something weird with him. And Rose Banner is just funny because he just has an entire goddamn chainsaw attached to his right arm. I feel like that's actually a reference to something, but I forget what it is specifically. Like, I'm thinking Ash of Evil Dead, but I'm not sure. Like, I think that's what that is, but I don't know, I've never seen it. But I think the other hilarious part of Roast Banner Gregor is that he actually has, like, a line or something that says that he used to use a flamethrower, but he accidentally caught his beard on fire at one point, so he stopped using it. Which is an understandable reason to not use a flamethrower.
Yeah, I can see why that'd be a good reason to stop.
Especially since, like...
My man up here looking like flambe in Dispatch after Robert throws.
Yeah, I know exactly that is... Like, it makes sense, especially since, like, consistently, like, out of everyone, Gregor is usually the one with stubbles. Like, no, that's an understandable reason, my man. But anyway, we are finally to floor 3 of this hellhole. Oh yeah, I guess as a fun fact for the sign, you can kind of see it up here. You'll probably get a better look in the next couple nodes here. But, fun fact, the, quote, sign EGO is actually supposed to be the, quote, Mark of Cain, which is obviously a biblical reference. Until, like, I think Canto 7? Canto 8? I forget. It had a completely different design. It only got updated when everybody in the community, plus the developers, realized, oh shit, that's not actually the Mark of Cain, that's just something from fucking Supernatural. Basically, there is no consistent design for the Mark of Cain, but whenever they were looking up the Mark of Cain for the sake of this design, that was the only thing that came up, and basically nobody really thought about it too much. Because, like, other people had probably started co-opting it and stuff like that, but they've changed it recently, so it doesn't look as
I mean,
close to it anymore.
that's a reasonable mistake. That's a very reasonable mistake, I feel like.
Yeah, now it kind of looks more like the crack on the eggshell Sinclair's center icon / I think it's supposed to represent, like, a very specific Hebrew letter.
Wait, his icon is a cracked eggshell?
Mm-hmm. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick, since we're at a low moment.
No, I saw it a while back, because, remember, I've been looking up Limbus fan art, and I saw one which represented Sinclair, and it had a cracked egg in it, and I thought, yes.
Yeah.
No. I didn't realize that was his symbol, but
yeah.
But even more so, that's just like, that is really leaning into, the implications of the source material that he
may or may not have genderfuckery going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I have it pulled up on the screen right now.
Yeah. That's why I saw. I honestly got that. That was just a joke of his egg cracked.
I
didn't realize that was basically his emblem.
Yeah, but the actual in-universe explanation for what this is, as you would expect, a reference to his source material, because in Demian, basically, Sinclair has more or less explained the nature of life and shenanigans like that in order to find yourself and, like, understand the world around you, you must first destroy a world. Like, this is how it is explained to him, and it is given through the analogy of a bird cracking its egg. Like, in order to enter a new world, the world you know must be destroyed. In order for a chick to be born, it has to destroy its egg. So it is exceedingly actually symbolic of the beginning of life. But obviously, as modern connotations in the English language have changed, it's very silly when you realize in the book there is a point where Sinclair paints a self-portrait of himself, but he cannot determine for the life of him if it is male or female. Like, he just kind of sits there going, what? But, like, it is kind of a case of that the cracked egg is more just symbolic than one little throwaway thing. It is, like, an actual, like, concept of worldview. Like, all of the center icons are actually very interesting, because Esong's is, like, a drawing of a broken wing made of glass on a sheet of paper, because he's a poet. Faust is a brain in a jar. Don Quixote's is
I mean, yeah,
a
because
carousel. Yeah, Don Quixote's is a carousel horse and a star. Ryoshu's is a butterfly that's on fire. And I don't actually remember what the kanji on her says. Merceau's is a chain in the sunlight. Honglu is an eye with a ring and clouds. Heathcliff's is a wuthering cliff inside of a ring etched with initials and a sprig of heather, that is specifically heather flowers. Ishmael's is the nautical star with her braided headband. Rodian's is a bleeding heart with an axe through it. Sinclair's we've explained. Otis's is a watch face with a depiction of the Trojan horse, and etched in Greek is, they had their family, I had mine. And Gregor's is his claw holding a bunch of dog tags. Like, all of these are well thought out and very well designed. And each of them is each sinner's, like, specific color, because every single one of them has a unique color assigned to them. Like, you can easily see it when you have them all together. I'm trying to remember what all of them are off the top of my head. It is Dreamy Gray, Cerebral Pink, Oblivion Yellow, Smoky Scarlet, I forget what Merceau's is, but his is blue. Naive Cyan, Stormy Purple or Stormy Violet. I forget what Ishmael's is, but hers is orange. I forget Rodian's, but hers is specifically burgundy, which is still red, but different from Ryoshu, who is scarlet. Sinclair's is innocent green. Otis's I forget as well, but hers is like militant olive, I think, actually. So still green, but hers is specifically olive, and Gregor's is verminous brown. So everything is thought out, symbolic, and interconnected. But I will tell you that finding out that Otis's watch had writing on it took so long for me to realize. But it's very interesting that hers straight up says, they had their families, I had mine. Which makes a lot of sense when you remember the story of Odysseus.
Yeah.
Anyway, continuing on with the story.
천천히 가자니까.
I might have to switch Sinclair in soon. I see endless mounds of dead bodies. The Inquisitors were raising their arms in unison as if to worship something. And there Cromer stood at the highest peak. She held out her hands in a prayer-like gesture towards the golden bough atop an altar.
The fathoms of the ego are already open. I see someone has resonated with the bow before us.
대체 뭘 하고 있는 거야?
What are they up
뭘
to?
향해서 손을 뻗고 있는 거야?
What are they raising their hands for?
Prayer.
What is this sound?
어디서 많이 들어본
This
소리인데.
feels awfully
They're
familiar.
worshiping it, aren't they?
Maybe.
기분 나쁜.
This feels awfully familiar. Somehow annoyingly tingly and unpleasant.
학교 종소리잖아.
It's a school bell.
어지간히도 학교가 싫었나 보고.
Our boy hated school that much, eh? The playful conversation seemed to lighten the mood for the sinners. Save for one. The one who should have been the owner of the fathom still showed unease.
아니야. 보여주고 싶지
No,
않아요.
I don't want to show my memories. They're... Unfortunately, his plea held no power over the realm.
Alright, everyone. Listen up.
The one who grips so declares.
Not only are those heretics disturbing our sacred rite, they're now after the offering that is rightfully ours to consecrate.
Disgraceful and defiled are they.
Go forth and die. Do not fear your end. As long as the offering of gold is with us, you shall be brought back to life again and again.
We shall fear not, for the one who grips is with us.
그리고
And
싱클레어.
Sinclair,
이리 와.
hurry
어서
over.
내 손에
You
쥐어.
belong in my hands.
No greater joy exists than to be wielded by the one who grips.
싱클레어. 동차는
Did you
가져왔지.
bring the coin?
또래들이 모여 있는 쉬는 시간은
The breaks between classes are always lively since everyone gathers around to talk.
어른들은 때때로 그런 우리를
The adults would often watch us from afar and
흐뭇해하고는 했다.
take this as a heartwarming sight,
하지만
but there's
어른들은 모를 것이다.
something they don't realize.
조금만 가까이서 보면
When you take a closer look, these merry interactions are brimming with envy, vainglory, pride, and guile.
그만큼
Children are
아이들은
crafty
교묘하다는
creatures.
것.
I heard Rahul from the next class over is getting a surgery on both arms by his father. Gonna be with some new tech that's never been shown before. How cool is that?
You know this actor on all the magazine covers? Did I ever mention they're getting an eye transplant in my mom's clinic? The wait list was so long, they personally begged to be moved up.
한두 마디씩 던지는
I
친구들의 말에
grow more anxious with each boastful story my classmates tell.
너는 뭐 없어?
What can I share?
라면서 눈동자들은
Their expecting eyes pointed at me like they could
비웃음과
turn into
멸시로
scoffing
바뀔 것
leers
같은데.
at any moment.
이건
This is a
비밀인데
secret, but
침이 꼴딱
I
넘어갔다.
swallowed nervously.
어쩌면 뭐 없냐는
Maybe
말은
they weren't asking me for a
나를
story
향한
after
것이
all,
아닐지도 몰랐다. 하지만 나는
but I had to keep their
그들의
curious eyes
야릇한
on me.
시선에서 그 순간
I
내팽개쳐질 것을
knew for sure that I'd become an outcast the moment they looked away.
우리 아빠는
My dad
피사와 협약을
signed a
맺었어.
contract with P Corp.
지금 개발 중인
They saw the
기술도
technology he
보더니
was working on and
적극적으로
agreed to give their full
지원해주기로
support.
했대. 맙소사.
My goodness,
나는
just
대체
what was I
무슨
thinking
생각으로
when I
그
spilled
사실을
that?
털어놓았을까? 그들의 눈밖에 나지 않으려던
Out of the
공포에
fear that I'd be
섣불리
isolated
튀어나온
from my peers,
화를
I
자초했다.
carelessly spelled my own ruin.
혹은
Maybe I was compelled by some childish urge
또래들 사이에서 잘 보이고 싶은
or an
저열함을
inherent
뒤섞은
desire to be recognized by the other students.
충동이었을지도. 기업 간의 비밀 협약이니
Now,
다른
Emil,
사람들에게는 절대
this is a
말해서는 안 되는
confidential agreement for our
진실을
business. You mustn't
아버지의
tell another
얼굴이
soul.
떠올랐다.
His insistent reminder echoed in my head. I could see his face.
그게 진짜냐, 싱클레어?
Whoa, is that for real, Sinclair?
P Corp? Like the wing? Wow, I'm jealous.
대화의 중심은
I
순식간에
became the
나로
center of
바뀌었다.
conversation in a split second.
주위에서 흥미롭게 쳐다보는
I could
아이들의
feel the
시선도 느껴진다.
stimulated eyes of the other kids in the class drawn to me.
우쭐함.
Superiority was
그건 꽤
pretty damn sweet.
달콤한. 아마도 나는
I
저열한
guess I
것에
was
휩싸였어.
driven by a depraved craving for attention.
그러고 보니 싱클레어.
Oh, right,
너도 곧
Sinclair.
받겠네. 일제
Your
시절.
procedure's soon, isn't it? You know, the prosthetics?
당연하지.
Yeah, of course.
신형으로 해주신다고.
They told me I'd get the newest model.
저들이 만약
Yeah, they paid just a bit of
조금이라도
attention to
내
my
표정에
face.
유심히 보아 맞득잖아 하는 내
They'd have
얼굴을
noticed the reluctance in my
분명
expression.
뜻했을 것이다. 하지만 다행히도
Fortunately,
그런 것 따위
no one ever pointed it out.
쉬는 시간이 끝나고
A massive wave of guilt eventually washed over me after our break was over,
비로소
and I was finally left
자책감이
alone.
엄습해왔다. 비밀을 지키라고
I
했는데
was supposed to keep that a secret.
아버지가 아시면 어떡하지?
What if father finds out?
손톱에서는
Blood was
Basically,
leaking.
everything
피가
happened.
새어나오고 있었다.
Go on.
Basically, everything that has happened here happened because Sinclair mentioned something that he shouldn't have.
Not quite. Blood was leaking from my fingertip.
불안할 때마다 손톱을 뜯던
The
버릇이
bad habit of biting my nails whenever I felt anxious ended up hurting me.
나는 그 버릇을 고치기
I
위해
tried clipping them as short as I could to work on breaking it,
대신에
but I never considered that I might bite into my
모르고
skin instead.
있었던 것 같다. 책상에 떨어지는
Watching
빗방울을
blood
보면서
droplets fall on the desk,
그런 생각이 들어.
I thought of something.
졸업을 하면
Once I graduate,
의체
I'll
시술을
get a prosthetic replacement,
그러면
and then I'll
상처를
never get hurt or see my blood ever again.
없다. 하지만
But is that really?
너 피가
You're bleeding.
경쾌한 휘파람 소리와 함께
Someone cast a shadow over my desk with a
그늘이
whimsical whistle.
말을 거니는
She was a
이름만으로 겨우
classmate I
기억할
rarely talked to,
정도로 없던
so I could
동생.
barely remember her name.
No.
나의
No.
당황스러움에 우스꽝스러운 말투로
Flustered,
Oh my god, I knew it.
flustered, I stuttered out my response awkwardly.
뭐라고?
What was that?
있잖아.
Listen,
네가 아까 한
what you
말
said earlier.
진짜야?
Is it legit?
진짜야.
Yeah, it's legit.
그렇구나.
I see.
니네
Your father
아버지
must be a real big
진짜
deal, isn't he?
어,
Yeah,
어,
I
그렇지.
guess.
예상치 못한 찬사야.
Her unexpected flattery has me embarrassed,
아버지의 훌륭함이
as if my father's greatness were
내
somehow my
이득이라도
own.
된 것처럼.
그런데
Oh,
넌 왜
why
그런
did you make that
표정이었어?
face?
뭘?
Huh?
너 말이야.
You know,
속으로 그렇게
you were thinking
생각했잖아.
it to yourself.
그러더니 고개를 숙이고
Then she lowers her head and whispers only for me to hear.
더럽다고.
It's filthy.
눈동자가 커진다.
My eyes widen,
속마음을 들켰다는
not just because I was surprised by how she knew what I was thinking,
애써 숨겼다고 생각한
but the
의중을
fact that a total stranger like her had even be able to figure out exactly what I'd been hiding.
어떻게
How did you know?
뻔뻔하게 부정하면 될 일을
I could have gotten away with it if I just denied her accusations. But
되물어왔다.
tactlessly, I asked her that with a dumbfounded look on my face.
Because
왜냐면
I agree with you on that.
나랑?
You agree?
통하는 사람끼리
You can
많은
see a
게
lot
보이는
from
거라서.
those who are on the same wavelength as you.
반가워.
Nice to meet you.
크로모야.
I'm Crow.
그 이후로
Ever since then,
나는
Cromer and I became friends who talk
이야기를
often.
나누는 사이가 되었다.
She's literally a stalker with a crush.
I wouldn't exactly call her a stalker, but she's a little too infatuated with him.
For lack of a better term, she's a stalker with a crush.
Yeah.
묵은 먼지도
I guess with that on the board, I should probably explain that in the actual book, Franz Cromer is nothing more than a bully. Like he on
I
purposely,
could probably figure.
yeah, like he on purposely belittles Sinclair and basically forces him to do things that he doesn't want to do, namely like stealing from his parents and stuff like that. Basically, under the pretense that he would tell his parents what he was doing if Sinclair ever tried to either get away from him or explain to his parents what he had been doing. Basically, it was a no-win situation. And this was when Sinclair was like 6? And Cromer was like 10 or something like that. They made them a bit closer in age in this, and obviously kind of spun some things to make more sense in the context, but I
mean,
think the
yeah.
point is about the same.
I mean, yeah, but I also feel like in reality, a 6-year-old would still get in trouble, but you know, it's just like, okay, they're 6. Come on.
Yeah. As a household rule, my family used to have breakfast at the same table every morning. It was a pleasant time when our whole family would share stories and encouraging words. I liked those mornings. That rule was ever so kind and gentle to my heart. A natural and unchanging world that belonged to me. My world. That world began to feel alienating one day. The day when my sister sat at the table after prosthetic transformation was complete. My world had begun to change when my father's head was replaced with an unfamiliar contraption of steel circuits and wires. Our family breakfast was no longer provided warmth and connection. It became an occasion of detachment, where I talked less and less. I had started to feel an inherent abhorrence for prostheses. That's filthy. My heart couldn't accept the idea of replacing one's flesh and bones with something else, let alone the need for it. Why do we use prosthetic bodies?
조심스럽게 이유를 물어보니
I carefully asked for an
돌아오는 대답은
explanation,
간결했다.
and the reply was simple.
인간의 몸은
The human
고리타분하다는
body,
것이었다.
in its unmodified state, is too old-fashioned.
먹지 않으면 배고파하고
It needs to be
자지 않으면
sustained with
피곤해하고
food,
다치게 되면
revitalized with
회복을
sleep,
기다려야
lest it should
하고
fail from fatigue, and injuries take a long time to heal.
이 모든 것들은 한없이
All this makes the
비효율적이다.
human body incredibly inefficient.
그러니 시간이 지날수록
He
의체를
concluded
사용하는
that
이들의 비율은 늘어갈
prostheses will
것이고
grow more commonplace as time goes on,
의체의
and
일상화는
ultimately become a regular part of our daily lives.
나는 속으로
I thought to
그럴
myself,
거라면
won't I
차라리 도태되어
just-
버리는 게 낫지
why don't
않을까?
I just fall behind the times then if that's what the mainstream will be?
논리 정연하게
Though that
그들의 반박을
wasn't
할
an
수는
argument
없었지.
rooted in logic.
싱클레어.
Yo, Sinclair,
사실 마음에 안
you
들지.
don't actually want to take the replacement procedure, do you?
나는
I
조용히
nodded
끄덕였다.
without a word.
하지만 부모님한테
But your
솔직하게
parents sure wouldn't
말했다간
like it if you
그게
confessed
속상했을
that.
테고. 아무것도 할 수 없는 게
Isn't it
원망스럽지.
frustrating that there's nothing you can do about it?
다시 한번
I
고개를
nod
끄덕인다.
again.
내가 도와줄까?
What if I
그런
helped you
것 따위
out?
받지 않고
You could live a
자유롭게
free
살아나려.
life, no worries about any of that junk.
어떻게?
But what? How?
그건
That
다음에 말해줄게.
you'll find out next time.
그 대신
In exchange,
내가 너희 원망을
in return for helping you with your problem,
너도 나의
you'll
원망을
help me
이뤄줘야
deal with a
할 거야.
grudge of my own too.
As a further reminder that, I'm gonna quickly give up on this fight so I can get Sinclair in the midst. From what we can tell of the village of Kaf, the Sinclair family were amongst the most well off. So it is kind of suffice to say that Sinclair is of money. Like, I think if you had to put him on the list, he's like the second or third most wealthy center. Like, if you take into account his family history.
예측할 수 없게.
Fair enough.
Because by far and away, the richest is fucking Honglu. Like, I won't explain that one too much, but fucking Honglu is, like, without doubt, the most well off.
전혀
예측할 수 없게. 흔들려. 정해진 운명이라네. 결정. 해본. 좋아해.
천천히 가자니까.
어느 날
One day,
데미안이라는
a
이름의
new
전학생이
transfer student named Damien was placed in the class next to mine.
전학생 주인은
He was surrounded by a crowd every time I saw him,
사실 그는
but I got the sensation that he didn't feel attached to anyone around him.
내 눈에는 데미안이
To me,
그저
he
공기에
seemed as if
고요하듯
he were almost floating in the
떠있는
air.
것만 보였다.
He was aloof like that.
마찬가지로
Likewise,
또한 내게
he
별다른
didn't seem
관심이
too
없어
interested in
보였다.
me either.
처음에는
That's how it was at first. At least,
그날은 지루하기 짝이 없는
it
음악 수업
happened during the boring engineering class.
칠판에서 자꾸 시선이 어긋나
My eyes kept drifting away from the board,
어느새
and
창문
before I
앞에
knew it,
쉬어가고 있었다.
they were looking out the window instead.
그 창문 너머에는
Through that window,
산책을 즐기고
I
있는
saw him taking a walk.
그는 언제나 그랬던 것처럼
Like
친구들에게
usual, he
둘러싸이는
was surrounded by his fellow
옅은 웃음을
students,
짓고 있었는데
wearing a faint smile.
그 웃음마저도 또래들과는
Even his
다르고
expression felt different from the kind someone his age should make.
외로워 보이는
That smile carried a mature yet solitary aura.
그러다가 그가
Basking in the sunlight, he stroked his hair.
순간
I
그의
thought I
눈에
caught a
무언가
glimpse of something weird,
신비롭고
red thing on his forehead.
잘못 보았던 걸까?
Was I mistaken?
순간적으로 햇빛이
Maybe
너무
it was the
강렬하게
blinding
비쳤던
sunlight
것일지도
reflected
모르겠다.
off his skin.
그러다가
Then
그와
I
눈이
had the
마주치는
feeling I
것
made
같았다.
eye contact with him.
여전히 창밖에서
Some students
아이들이
were
대화
still
소리를
chatting
들었고
outside.
나는 그의 시선을 느끼자마자
As soon as I felt his gaze,
책상
I
아래로 눈을
quickly
내리고
averted my eyes and looked down at my desk.
그 기묘한 사건 이후로
Ever since that strange
데미안은
incident,
곧잘 친근하게
Damien started to talk to me in
내게
a friendly
말을
manner.
걸기 시작했다. 신기하게도 데미안이
Oddly
내게 오는
enough,
날이면
on the days when Damien
크로머는
approached
아는
me,
척을 해오지 않았다.
Romer didn't come to greet me.
다만
Nevertheless, whenever she had a chance to, she'd come and make sure that I remembered our promise.
재차 확인을 하곤 했다.
난 종종 꿈을 꿔, 싱클레어.
I often have this dream, Sinclair.
그 꿈속에서는
In it, I climb an endlessly long ladder, that everything down below comes into view.
땅 전체가
The
한눈에
nest,
들어와.
the back streets, the
둥지와
outskirts,
뒷골목,
all of it.
외곽까지 전부 다. 그런 다음에
When I look
내려다보면
beneath my feet,
이번엔
all the
온
lights
도시가
are out in the
꺼져 있어.
city, as if the end
모든
of all
것의
things had
종말이
come,
다가온 듯 말이야. 어떤 움직임도
fallen
보이지
into silent
않는
death,
고요한
empty of any motion.
죽음. 맞아.
Indeed,
그건 죽음
it's the state of
그
death
자체인 거야.
itself.
데미안,
Damien,
넌
have you
외곽에
been
가본
to
적이
the
있는 거야?
outskirts?
나는 두려워해.
I whispered to him,
속삭여 물었다.
frightened.
외곽은 누구도
He was
가서는 안
talking about a
되는
forbidden place
갈 수도
where
없는
no one
장소였어.
could or should go.
싱클레어.
Sinclair,
사람들이 정한 것처럼
the world as
가야 할
people want to
곳과
define
가지
it
말아야 할
can't be
곳으로
divided into
나눠지는
places of
것이
where
아니야.
you should and shouldn't go.
너는 이 둥지에
Do you think
자유와
love and
사랑이
freedom can be
존재한다고
found within the
생각하니?
confines of this nest?
외곽은 오히려
Compared to
이것보다
here,
풍요로워.
life is much richer in the outskirts.
나는 오래전부터 생각해오던
There's
것이
something I've
있었고,
been pondering for a
어쩌면
long
외곽에서
time,
그 답을
and I thought that
찾을 수
maybe
있을지
that's where I
모르는
could
것을
find the
생각하거든.
answer.
데미안과 이야기할 때면
Whenever I spoke with
나는 내
Damien,
영혼이
I could feel
조금
my
더
soul
성숙해지는
mature a
것이
little,
느껴졌다. 하지만
but I never mentioned my
시술에
fears
대한
about the
나의
upcoming
불안이라는
prosthetic procedure
크로머와의
or my
기묘한
peculiar
관계가 많은
relationship
건
with Cromer.
대화의 소재로 삼지 않았다. 그는 나에게
Even though he
이것저것을
wanted to know more about me,
물어보긴
I was hesitant to share my
했지만 불어
secrets.
말하지 않았다. 내 안에 은밀한
I
두려움까지
was
끄집어내기
too ashamed to bear my deeply hidden fears before him.
부끄러웠던 것이다. 그리고 마침내
And finally,
크로머와의
the promised day had
약속이
come.
내게 다가왔다.
싱클레어.
Yo,
너희 집에 있는
Sinclair,
지하실 말이야.
can you show me your basement?
그녀의 말은 너무나도
Her
갑작스레
words struck me out of nowhere.
깃털
yet they were
밑이
light as a
가볍게
feather.
들려와서 떨어진 지우개를
She asked me
주워달라고
that
하는
as
것만큼
though it were something as simple as picking up an eraser,
나도 모르게
and I
긍정적인
almost caught
것을
myself
간신히
agreeing to it.
받아들였다. 우-
What-
우리 집
Why
지하실은
our basement exactly?
내가 우연히 들은
Yeah, the
이야기가
rumor I just
맞다면
so happen to hear is
이곳은
right.
엄청난 곳과
Your
연결되어
house is connected to a scandalous place.
확인해봐야 할 게 있어.
There's something I've got to check.
하지만 부모님이
But my parents
좋아하지 않으실 텐데
don't like it.
그런 말들은
I couldn't even bring myself to finish this humiliating sentence.
참아.
내가 확인만 제대로 할 수
If you let me check it out, Sinclair,
저번에 했던
I swear I'll keep that promise with you. Cross my heart.
지하실 열쇠를 몰래
Just sneak me the basement key,
가져와주면
and I can
길안에
navigate
내가
just
할수
fine.
있으니까.
그녀의 말에 숨어 있는 기시감을 끝끝내 찾아내지 못하고
Unable to detect the faint,
천천히
familiar feeling hidden in her words, slowly nodded.
그렇게
Thus, the world of evil began there, right in the middle of our
우리 집
house.
한가운데에서
위험 요소 제거.
Also, did you see what I sent you?
Yeah, I did. That's remarkably tame for some of the stuff I've seen done to Cromer. I'll be honest.
Surprisingly, that was the only thing I could find in my usual stomping ground.
I mean, yeah.
Because I need to reset my either boot up my old laptop or reset my Pixiv password because I don't remember it.
I think it'd be easier to boot up the old laptop and find that than resetting the password.
I mean, yeah, that's what I plan to do. It's just more so just I'm lazy.
Fair.
Also, you know, it's not like it's not like 4-alarm fire emergency. I need to get my Pixiv like now.
I pop in there every once in a while, so mine's usually logged in.
Yeah, that was one of the few, if not the only things that I and just forgot to like note the password for when I upgraded.
Fair enough.
Yeah, go figure. There's always something when that happens.
나는 약속했던 대로 크로머와 만나.
After stealing the key without my parents noticing, I took Cromer to the basement of my estate as had promised.
크로머가 안내한 곳은
From there, she led me to a dirty air vent.
환풍구를 한참 기어가자.
Crawling in the unlit vent for a while, a dank, grimy odor and the sounds of smoke critters scuttling about assaulted my senses.
옷은 점점
My
더러워지고
clothes
있었고,
were stained with filth.
목은 말라.
My throat was parched, and I was overcome with the desire to go back.
간절해져만 갔다. 그때
That's when I noticed the smell my nose picked up had changed from the stench so far.
너도 느껴지지?
Can you feel it?
크로머가 속삭이는 소리가
Cromer
들려.
whispered to me.
앞에 뭔가 있는 거야.
There's something up ahead.
만약 돌아가야 할 마지막
This
기회가
might have been the
왔다면
last chance I had to turn back.
지금일지도 몰랐다. 지금이라도 그녀를 만류하고 온갖 달콤한
It might have
비밀을
been better to
끼얹으며
dissuade her with all kinds of sweet placations to leave and come back later,
그녀에게
even if I knew that empty flattery wouldn't work on her.
하지만 나는
But before I could try, a
사악한
vile
호기심이
curiosity
들이댔지.
came over me.
처음으로
I was entering a world where villains belonged for the first time,
왜였을까?
and for some reason, I gave up turning back,
그게 마지막 기회라는 것을
all while knowing in my heart that I was squandering my last chance.
알고 있어. 그 광경은
Oh,
정말이지.
the loathsome
두
sight I had to
보기 힘들
witness.
정도로
It was something I couldn't
끔찍한
think to behold twice.
장면이었다. 이걸 단순히
Could monstrosity be an apt description for what I saw?
그러기에는 지성이 있는
It
것처럼
seemed too
보였고,
sentient for that.
인간이라고 하기에는
It had also seemed decidedly wrong to say it was even remotely human.
두려움에 몸부림치며
Shuddering in fear, I started to regret stepping into this world.
왜 기회를 걷어차고 나서야
Sinclair, you idiot, look at yourself.
없을지 기원하는
Hoping by some miracle to get another chance right after you've wasted it.
그런 후회와 함께
Along with my regret,
이건 아마
I had the feeling that I'd never forget what I saw that day until the moment I die.
크로머
Cromer, I've gotta go back.
돌아가야겠. 하지만 크로머는
On the other hand, Cromer was enraptured.
그녀는 아주 황홀한
She was mesmerized by the scene,
인생의 대단한 무언가를
watching
마주하면서
intently as though she had made a discovery of a lifetime.
그 어떤 말도 들리지 않는 것처럼
Leaving
보이는
Cromer all enamored to herself,
나는
I crawled backwards for the exit.
왜 우리 집 근처에
Why is my basement connected to such a horrid place?
왜 크로머는
How did Cromer know this?
왜 크로머는
Why isn't she scared either?
두려워하지 않는 걸까? 뒤에서 바람을 타고
I could almost hear Cromer's spine-chilling whistles with the wind blowing from behind.
다음날 크로머는
The very next day, Cromer came to school as if nothing had happened.
싱클레어,
Sinclair,
되게 귀중한 것을
thank you
보여줘서
so much
고마워.
more for showing me precious things.
이건 내
Take
보답이야.
these as my thanks.
그러더니 그녀는
She handed two mysterious coins to me.
항상 가지고
Always
있도록
keep them
해.
at your side.
알았지?
Got it?
고개를 끄덕이지 않을 수
All I could
없었다.
do was nod.
그 후 매일 밤
Since then, the things I saw in that vent constantly haunted my mind,
나는
and I
자연스레
began to consciously avoid Cromer.
그녀를 바라보는 것만
I could picture myself involuntarily trembling in terror just by looking at her.
그러나 아직 크로머에게
But there was something I needed to take back from her.
지하실 열쇠.
Basement key.
만약 부모님이
My parents could find out at any moment. 1 minute assorting keys is all it would take. For the first time, I betrayed my parents to living in a world of warmth. I was afraid that my deviation from their world would end up becoming an irrefutable fact. Cromer, won't you give it back now?
뭘 말이야?
Give back what?
지하실
Basement key.
용기를 쥐어짜낸
I
어느 날
mustered the courage to ask one day.
크로머는 예상치 못한 말을 들었다는
Cromer
말씀을
burst
터뜨렸고
into laughter, as though she didn't expect this from me.
뒤로
Intimidated, I slowly stepped back.
Oh, and I was wondering what you were struggling so hard to say.
좋아.
Fine,
알려줄게.
you can have it, Sinclair.
싱클레어.
We don't need the key
열쇠는
anymore.
이제 우리한테 그리고 말이야.
And besides,
네 원망은
your
틀림없이
grudge will most
이루어질
certainly bear
거야,
fruit,
싱클레어.
Sinclair. You didn't want to get your
은퇴식을 받지
procedure,
않고 싶다는 거
right?
말이야. 약속 기억하지?
You remember our promise? You fulfilled my grudge, so it's only fair that I pay you back.
I was too absorbed in the relief of getting my key back to realize what Chroma was really talking about, and I cursed my ignorance for it. About what Chroma's "we" really meant. About why she said it's not needed anymore, and how she was going to fulfill my grudge. I didn't think to question a single thing, and for that, I regret my inaction.
So basically,
Curse my foolishness.
Cromer's doing everything she's doing because she thinks that's what Sinclair wants.
A little bit of that, a little bit of going absolutely mad because she saw an abnormality in its unrestricted state at a indeterminately young age. Like, we don't actually know how old they were in the situation. Like, they could be as old as, like, 17, 18. Like, Sinclair kind of almost implies that by this point he's, like, 18, 19. And he might be, like, in early college, but I have no idea how old he's supposed to be in these flashbacks.
So it's a mix of her own hatred,
Sinclair's inaction, and even Sinclair's own, actual, grudge against his parents.
I mean, I can't fully fault Sinclair for not really liking this. Like, I would probably be like, I don't know if I want this. I get the argument of, yeah, it's freaky, but I also don't feel like ethnic cleansing is the solution here.
Yeah. Like, Sinclair has his problems, but obviously he's the sane one of the two of them.
Yeah.
So you ended up giving Cromer the key. How do you know that? Demian had this ability to get a grip on things I'd never mentioned to him. When I asked him about it, he just said it's something you learn by carefully observing others, and didn't elaborate further. Sinclair, a series of much more painful events may await you in the future. But you mustn't give up. That pain will foster your growth into a beautiful being. No matter how complicated and perplexing those statements seemed, Demian's mystic charm made them all sound convincing. Listening to his speech gave me the hope that I could really grow. I was hopeful that I could become a worthy being. But I don't really get it though, Demian. It's up to you to find out. Make sure to tell me your answer when you do. His voice was soft, and his eyes imparted pleasantness, but I still felt compelled to do as he said. His eyes must have held some kind of power, disarming those who make eye contact with him, sapping them of mental strength. But if that's the case, why didn't he warn me? It's something I still ask myself to this day.
내 뒤로. 거기까지. 쉽네.
지령에게 불확실한 것은 없네.
먼저 간다. 위험 요소.
미래를 과거와 같이.
이 대검은 당신의 검이
Yeah, it's definitely a lot easier to get through Canto 3 with competent units.
I can imagine.
It was Christmas Eve, and the whole town was filled with jingles and joy. Under the blessing of the Holy Night, I was planning to confess my sin to my family. I wanted to tell them that I made the foolish mistake of stealing the basement key, and then I'd go back to being a good son. That the short time I spent away from the right path was agonizing. That I learned how peaceful and fulfilling the world I've been living in truly was. My family might be surprised at first, but I was sure they'd welcome me back in their paradise. That's how it should have been. However, I was supposed to hear a robot dog greet me when I stood at the gate, but my home was covered in silence and darkness. When I walked inside, I was confronted with a fallen paradise. Someone smashes my father's head. It's a disturbing individual, wearing rusty silver armor. How unsightly of these non-humans to still admire humanity and display false emotion.
Let those impure things go, Gadot. Their survival instincts kicking in. Or should I say, they're scared of shutting down?
Pieces of metal, flesh, and blood fly into the air before hitting the floor.
Sinclair! You're here!
Homer approaches, carrying a hammer stained with blood and flesh.
Oh, this thing. Ever since I was little, I couldn't stand being involved with filthy affronts to humanity like these. 'Cause I'm a humanitarian who loves all things human. Now, imagine how it feels to face the son of a pack of those affronts to humanity. Just what should I do with you, Sinclair?
My legs have long given up. My mouth couldn't move. It was as if my whole body refused to cooperate. I saw Cromer standing right before me. I couldn't dare look up. Terror kicked in with the realization that she was so close to me, and my eyes shut themselves tight. The thought that the same hammer that crushed my father, mother, and sister would now come for me was unbearable. But nothing happened. Confused, I carefully opened my eyes and lifted my head. Cromer was watching me, making a perfect smile, just like the one she'd made when she first came to my desk. It told me her name.
Well, you are my hero, Sinclair.
She then reaches into the pocket of my school shirt and takes out a coin. It's one of the two she handed me the other day.
From now on, you'll doubt everything, be anxious of everything, and live in ever-constant terror as your memories of me haunt you. And when the time comes, I will call for you. Hey, someone take this kid to safety. Lay a finger on him and I'll make you regret it.
Amidst the piercing noise, storms of heavy footsteps and disorientation, I lost consciousness. So
I
basically,
mean, Cromer had. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say she was fucked up from the very beginning.
Yeah, I got that impression. I could have come in here just when he met her at school, and I could have gotten the impression of just like, girl, Unogase looks sane compared to you.
Yeah. And she apparently had connections to Knuckle and Hammer even already at that point. So
I mean, she at minimum has the decency of saying that anyone hurts him, you're next.
basically,
That's what is comforting as
a bed of spikes.
pretty much.
Yeah, she's a piece of work, but unfortunately people like her in the city are actually kind of common. Just completely batshit insane.
I mean, this definitely explains the high amount of Chromarex Sinclair artwork I saw.
Yeah.
Which, I believe that is what we call a toxic relationship.
I believe we call that a can of Yikes Hard Lemonade.
Hey, thank you.
Hey, I've heard that even before you started saying it, man.
I got it from Dan. Somebody on his stream, in his chat, and his exact response was just, yo, I'm stealing that.
I think I saw
and
it on
my response
Tumblr.
was, I'm also stealing that.
Yeah, I think I saw it on Tumblr, so...
I literally went back to like one of the earlier chapters of Iron Maidens and just slapped that in there in a place at work because I liked it so much. Just like
implying Mike's
fucking
Hard
saving
Lemonade
this in the
still exists in Iron Maidens.
look. I established that contact collection and Nintendo still exists. It's my universe. I can do what I want with it.
No, that's fair. Like, it's always funny when you have post-apocalyptic stuff and it's like, somehow that still exists. Like here's the thing. We don't actually know if the city is, like, post-apocalypse or anything like that, but the fact that Christmas still exists in this twisted universe kind of says a lot.
I mean, I feel like that's something that would be hard to get rid of in the for lack of a better phrase. Like,
but like,
especially with how commercialized it is.
Yeah, but bear in mind that according to the in-game calendar, this is year 964, implying that if there was an apocalypse, it was almost 1,000 years ago. Bear that in mind. So the fact that somehow Christmas has continued to exist is
for
really
7,000 years.
Basically. And still in its kind of slightly hyper-capitalistic way, because Leviathan kind of shows that it is still slightly commercialized because Virgilius went out to buy Christmas presents for the kids. But then again...
But what kids besides Charon?
He worked at an orphanage.
Oh, he did?
Yes, he actually ran an orphanage.
Oh.
Virgilius is actually a really good guy. He's just very taciturn.
Well, given the hooligans he has to work with, and the fact that his daughter is Stoke, and his not daughter is Stoke, and his other not kid is now a boss.
His other not kid is a rock. Like, that's actually more like correct. He's a rock.
I can't tell if that's better or worse.
But yeah, like the thing of it is that there's only one other thing that I have never once been able to explain in the series, and I have yet to actually find it again, but I know I didn't make this up, is the fact that in Library of Ruina, apparently, somehow, Kenyan coffee beans still exist?
Okay, so Kenya still exists.
Somehow?
Apparently.
Or like, at least...
Or is this like the same energy as old Pokedex entries of Arcanites from China? Raichu can shock an Indian elephant.
I don't know.
What the fuck are China and India?
I mean, those have, like, at least been modernized now to make more sense in context.
I mean, yeah.
But the thing is that when it comes to Library of Ruina with that, I don't know what the intent is, because the only time we ever get this mentioned is when Chesed is making a cup of coffee, and he specifically brings up Kenyan beans or something like that, and it's like, how the fuck do you know what that is?
It's like Gregor whispering to Ishmael, what's a Kenya?
I don't know, it sounds fake. Anyway.
Hey, Faust, do you know what Kenya is?
Faust will not answer.
the Faust Discord is just like, should we tell him?
No.
No, it's funnier this way. Agreed.
When I came to my senses, I found myself in an alleyway at midday, heated by the sun.
난 그곳에서
I stayed there on the ground,
멍하니 누워
dazed and confused.
길가 곳곳에
I could see a haze rise from the surface. Sinclair, a crack has been made in your world.
내가 데미안을 봤을 때
I
종종
felt like I
느꼈던
was starting to
미안함이
understand what the strange feeling I got from Demian was.
어째서 그
I always found it weird how I'd never heard his
발걸음 소리가
footsteps.
나지 않았던 걸까? 왜 모든 건
Why does
비록
everything
조용하고
arrive in desolate silence if it
거기에도
belongs
속하지
to no world at all?
고요하게 다가오는 걸 가족의 죽음도
The loss of my family, the world of evil, all this despair,
그리고
and you too.
두렵니?
Are you scared, Sinclair?
그는 내게 말했다.
He spoke to me.
모든 것을
He had the eyes of a person who saw through everything,
그리고 그
and the
모든
attitude of
것을
someone who
예정된
predicted the
조절을
series
따라
of events.
심지어 그는 알고 있는
He didn't
듯이
even wait for me to reply,
대답을
like he
기다리지
knew what I
않고
was going to say.
언젠가 전부
One day,
깨끗이
You'll break it all together and soar,
나는
and I
전부 끄집어내지는
wish to
너를
see you
보고 싶어.
completely bare.
입 밖으로 꺼내지 못하고 있던 나의 속대답이
He responded as if he already knew the answer I was hesitating on,
그러나
although his words seemed to radiate warmth. I felt a certain chill, like biting into the cold insides of a half-cooked turkey. I couldn't help but fall
starting to get the
unconscious
feeling-
again.
Starting to get the feeling that Demian is basically a good chunk of the reason why Sinclair didn't go mad.
Yeah,
Or worse, just go Romer.
he is a
He-
bit of a
he had
grounding
no-
force.
Yeah.
내 뒤로.
정해진 운명이라네.
이 팀의 제 뒤로.
지령에게 불확실한 것은 없네.
신병 확보하겠습니다.
대행 완료.
더냐? 쉽네.
퇴거하시죠. 이쪽으로.
Sorry, I felt quiet for a second. I had to specifically look up something because it's going to be interesting when I get a chance to actually explain what the fuck it is once we get kind of closer to the end of the countdown.
예측할 수 없게. 운명적인 죽음일세. 미래를 과거와 같이.
Alright. We are almost at the end here.
천천히.
Yeah, I was about to say how much is left? Because I feel like we gotta be getting close.
We're only a couple notes away, so.
From like the final boss fight.
Yep.
확보하겠습니다.
Like I said, when it comes to these traditionally made Fathom dungeons, they are always 3 floors. It's just that the second floor was kind of long and complicated, and I still skipped over half of it. But that's because I knew where to go.
I mean, you to be fair, you did do a very small bit of grinding, and you went to go get an extra EGO. So
예측할 수 없게.
I mean, the extra EGO was just something I could pick up because of the stuff I got for being a new player, quote unquote. Because they just give the ability to choose one ego from the Battle Pass from Season 1, and Fluid Sac happens to be one of those, and basically, Fluid Sac and a couple of the other healing EGO are what gets me through a lot of this game.
I mean, that's fair.
Like, if it weren't for Fluid Sac, I don't think Faust would be in as many of my, team comps as she is. Simply because it's that good of a healer.
This just reminds me of, like, I've been doing a bunch of research at work for, you know, stuff I don't want to say because I don't want to risk doxing myself.
Which is fair.
But I've lately, since I've, for now, run out of documentaries I want to have in the background for White Notes, I've just been putting on AGDQ VODs.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing of, like, one specific skill being helpful for Faust to work for you just reminds me of today I had the Octopath Traveler 2 run on, and that's the other thing I was going to look up now when I got one. Oh my god, I just remember.
Lol. We're going.
But yeah, just, like, because it was a one character only run, and they had to, and it was the full character story, and they had to get up a few abilities from some of the other classes, like Merchant, start the battle with an extra boost point, Dancer, prolong the effects of positive buffs by 1 turn, Scholar, the skill is literally just called Evasive Maneuvers, reduce the number of encounters you get slightly,
Understandable.
which, as you can imagine, is probably really helpful for a solo character run. Yeah, and a speed run. Also, the guy got super fucking lucky because he managed to find and kill one of the, like, the metal slime enemies.
Nice.
Yeah, he actually found 3 of them, but, like, he was only able to kill 1 because, like, you
Yeah,
know,
that's how it goes.
yeah, speed runs have, like, speed running is basically a science.
It is. Alright. Alright. Final party going into the final node.
파우스트가 맞이하죠.
Well, Sinclair, were you able to find an answer in your heart's path? Don't give me that look. It's not even time yet. You're making me want to kill you. No, I should abstain. I can't let immediate entertainment distract me from the more important things. Sinclair, the only way to retrieve a golden bow that's begun to resonate is... I know. Even if it weren't for our mission, I'd still tear that bitch to pieces and drink up her remains. Oh, Sinclair, when did you learn to act so tough? That's not like you at all. What a riot.
Sorry, I'm trying to adjust the volume, like, very minutely.
Still, well, I guess you've made some friends since then. You won't run away this time, will you?
Brilliant Vadala. Alright. Because of the sign, Sinclair's determination to stand up to Cromer. Once 3 strokes have been drawn. At turn start, gain 1 attack power up and 2 protection. If you gather the sign and bring Sinclair to the fight, he no longer gets debuffed by Cromer's whistle. In fact, it gives him a buff. Because he now has the courage to face her. That is kind of the reason why I switched him into the party last second. Like I said, future chapters make it a lot easier to see these battle effects, and they don't make it so luck-based. Like, the character in question will generally just have them. Also, I might have to pop Fluid Sack, because she is kind of tearing me apart.
So the song is called Between Two Worlds?
Yes. This part is specifically Between Two Worlds, World of Light.
Funny, because I thought this was the Christmas event.
No. I can see why you think that, because it definitely sounds very him-like.
이 장투는 승리할 거예요.
나의 손으로 잘라낼 수 있다면
Yeah, and basically you kind of get the way, alright, this effect. The way Limbus handles the Ian Battle songs is that, they will just loop until you hit a very specific point.
Yeah, I noticed that the first time actually from Ishmael's, because
Ishmael's is
my
also
first
one
time
of
seeing
the...
gameplay.
Yeah, Ishmael's is also one of the shortest songs. I believe in its entirety, this song is like 7 minutes? Not quite. Like this one is actually one of the long ones. Also, the reason why Sinclair is staggered, even though I didn't hit stagger threshold, Cromer can just do that. She just has an effect that does that, and it's still bullshit even now. Like, they take extra damage from Cromer, and they are just staggered for basically no reason. Like, she still has that effect even in refights in the Mirror Dungeon. Like, she just can do that. It is also very funny that like, in or out of context, this is like one of the few Millie songs where the lyrics just make sense. Like, usually Millie songs kind of have slightly absurd lyrics, but like, this one is like surprisingly understandable, I guess.
Really? Because I'd say Ishmael's and Don Quixote's are both very fitting for
They're
theirs.
fitting, but it's a case of the lyrics tend to be very abstract, is what I mean. Millie lyrics are usually never to the point. They're abstract, flowery, and usually full of double meanings. Like Ishmael's is actually very symbolic. Like, it doesn't actually say anything concrete about what's going on. It makes sense, but it is full of the abstract way things are written for Millie songs. But this one is very down to earth, I would say. Like, comparatively. Also, I'm just popping Fluid Sack because I need the sanity. Heathcliff.
먼저 간다.
Well, if I had realized she was that close to staggering, I wouldn't have popped Body Sack. Oh well.
이 안에 담아주지.
Also, this is gonna be my favorite part. Just wailing on her for a second because she can't go below 1 HP because it's a phase change. The sinners were fatigued and damaged, some already dead. As opposed to us, Cromer still stands triumphantly. She reaches for the inside of Sinclair's coat and what seems to be a declaration of his fate.
Now then, it's time, Sinclair. I'll be taking the second coin. Your last chance.
Why are you doing this to me? Why? Me?
Sinclair, you want to know why I gave you back the basement key when you asked? Listen close. It's not because I made my discovery or baked a copy of it. It's because you were my key. You see, I happen to know of a way to take a peek at the futures that might come true. I saw one among them, where you and I travel from nest to nest, slaughtering heretics together all around the city. Even though you were raised by heretics, bearing revolting metal bodies, part of you still felt disgusted by them. Funny, isn't it? You would stab them in the head with your halberd.
Don't you lie to me.
While I smashed their heads with a hammer.
Stop it!
In that world, you looked like the freest person in the universe, transcending everything. Whether I'm lying or not.
Cromer suddenly cracked a wry laugh and stopped moving. The golden bow! The golden bow on the altar resonated with her cackle. It began to glow brighter. Then... a mass of flesh engulfs her lower half. From the hideous organic growth, bundles of ambiguous appendages stretch outward in countless numbers, as if desire and madness were made manifest.
Not worthy.
Rip me up and chew me down. If you can, that is.
Cromer, the dreamer of human wholeness. As far as we are aware, this is a distortion. Basically, a ruination of the mental faculties and a rejection, I guess, of certain aspects of yourself. We're not exactly sure if she's a distortion or not, but we generally assume her to be. Basically...
Was she always one?
Nope. Distortion can basically just manifest like in a flash.
If I remember correctly, through intense emotions.
Basically. Also, this
So
is
for
the
this-
second half that is called World of Darkness.
So, in this case, probably from her own hatred and her frustration of just, Claire, why aren't you putting your arm around me yet?
Basically, because she's seen this glimpse of a Sinclair that could have been alongside her, but this one, hers, basically did not share her ideals. We don't actually know if she's a distortion.
My God, she stared into the mirror world.
Possibly. But, fun fact, N-Corp Sinclair is in fact an identity we can achieve. And if you actually bring N-Corp Sinclair to this fight, at the very beginning of Phase 1, Cromer will be staggered. Because she is so surprised to see that not only does he exist, but she is basically flabbergasted and appalled that he is not working for her. It's frankly impressive. It's one of the few times that bringing in a specific identity actually has a tangible combat effect that is not just a passive.
Staggered from heartbreak and then anger.
Basically. Like, there are other moments where bringing in specific identities will do silly things, but it's mostly extra dialogue or specific passive effects. Sinclair is the only one that outright has a battle effect at the start, which is still kind of cool even to this day. Mostly just because it just doesn't happen. But yeah, I don't know how many people share this, but we do, quote, lovingly refer to this version of Cromer as the Cromer Pillar. You could probably figure out why.
Gee, I wonder.
But yeah, the best explanation I've ever been able to give outside of Olympus context of what distortion is basically imagine your shadow has gone berserk, but instead of it being a separate entity, it's you. Because
That just sounds like witchification in Madoka.
it's probably similar. Because EGO, like, manifesting an EGO is accepting certain parts of yourself, or at least denial of the things that would make you a worse person, but are not necessarily always positive. Like, you can manifest an EGO for evil reasons, quote-unquote, and distort for good ones, but it is usually a case of rejection of the self versus acceptance of the self. That's basically the best way to put it.
So eerily similar to Persona 4 in a way. So it's basically a mix of like the Shadow Selves of Persona 4 and the Witches of Madoka.
Yeah, like as we see more distortions throughout the game, it becomes more evident of exactly what it is. Well, EGO is like, I'll use a Ruin example for a second. Is there's Philip. Yes, that bastard. He started to manifest his EGO under a desire to avenge the people that he had failed, and basically make right in the fact that he had been a coward and left them to die, and he wants to avenge their deaths. But he ultimately distorted when he was led to believe that even if he saved them, they would resent his cowardice. While Zhao, she manifests EGO because basically of a burning rage for the fact that she believes she is personally responsible for the death of her husband on their anniversary, and wants to avenge his death by any means possible. She didn't even get a chance to distort. Her love and passion and rage just manifested into what she believes is the right thing, which is to tear down the library piece by piece. So, like, that's kind of the best explanation of EGO versus distortion, is accepting that life may have dealt you a bad hand, but you are going to fucking make it right no matter what. Whereas distortion is, you are at your lowest point and you have decided to start digging. So it's like more complicated than rejection of the self, but it's like also accepting the worst part of yourselves while rejecting what could change you as a person. Like, it's really hard to explain the concept simply, because there's so many factors to what does distort a person, but there's going to be distortions later in the story that make it evident as to what the cause is. Anyway, Cromer is breathing heavily. Perhaps it's a side effect of the transformation. Her posture is unstable, and her eyes are looking elsewhere. With her focus disrupted, we might be able to land a critical strike. Dawn's the best chance. Don Quixote circled around Cromer's fleshy mass to disorient her.
Oh, sorry.
Soon enough, she let her guard down. Don Quixote didn't miss the chance to deliver a devastating blow. That seemed pretty effective. A deep, indelible wound was left on Cromer's body. Could this be it? Cromer, the dreamer of human wholeness, got stuck. Also, I will say, it only appears in these segments, but I love, like, this kind of weird muted radio version of the songs. Alright. Destroy. The fleshy hill exuded a potent acid, melting Sinclair's legs. All the other sinners were being dissolved by the caustic secretion too. He trips and hits the ground. No, perhaps I should say he was thrown off his feet. In spite of that, he still crawls towards Cromer.
Yes, that's it. It hurts, doesn't it? You're filled with rage, aren't you? Accept it all. Welcome it with open arms. And watch me. Watch my glorious body. Closer to the purest form of humanity than ever before. This flesh here, the sheer unmatched strength and purity. Sinclair, look at how human you are. You can become like me too.
Lady, there's nothing human about you. Your torso is literally melted red skeletons.
Never mind the arms in her... Yeah. The arms and spikes.
Or tail.
Sinclair, you were scared all along, weren't you? You lost your family, and you had to ride a bus with these strangers, forced to do things you didn't want. You knew in your heart that you didn't belong there, right? Didn't you want to run? Did you want to quit it all? Am I wrong? Swear I. Join me, Sinclair. Don't avoid this. Embrace it. Complete my grudge.
The arm Sinclair was using to hold his weapon was growing limp by the second. He nevertheless continues in Cromer's direction.
You must accept the pain. Only when we have transcended suffering itself can we be reborn. Load the flesh, spill the blood, adding on the most human things each second. To the purest world where the impurities plaguing the city of all folks have been filtered out.
엄마, 아빠, 누나.
Sinclair vacantly mutters, looking at the faces of his now dead fellow sinners. I couldn't leave him like this. Sinclair, listen to me. I'm embarrassed that it took me so long to take action, but it was better late than never. Act like the manager I am. I know you think a lot. I know there's a lot going on in your head that you can't share with the others. That's how he was. Worried that he might be a burden. He constantly put his mind through doubts and ruminations, most of which he never let on about. He's chewed up many a thought in the form of guilt.
가족들은
My family died because of me.
말해서는
I said stuff I really shouldn't have.
Exactly. It's all your fault. So embrace it. That's the way you become wholly reborn. Follow me and rest in my grip.
Don't listen to her. You have to see, look at her, observe her carefully. Alas, my voice didn't seem to reach him. Sinclair's weapon leaves his hand and lands on the ground. His advance for Cromer has stopped. Yep, looks like this is the end for us. I can feel my body melting into the mound. I knew I'd die trying to play the proper manager sooner or later. But... Sinclair... I have to tell him more. I have to tell him that Cromer's spewing a heap of lies, threats, hypocrisy, and exaggeration. Every nerve in my body is screaming that I shouldn't give up on him. I can feel the burning pain of my melting body. Look closely, Sinclair. Not with your eyes, but with your heart. I screech at Sinclair. Only then will you see what matters most. Only then will you see what matters most. In that moment, someone quietly appeared. And when you can see the things that matter the most, you won't have to stifle yourself with shallow threats or cheap tricks. Isn't that right, Sinclair? He moved with grace and airiness, as though he floated in the air. He seemed lighter than anyone else, unbound by anything. Contrary to his impression of freedom from all worldly longings An oppressive air seemed to accompany every step he took. And with just a wave of his right arm, Cromer's upper body vanished in a clean cut.
데미안,
Damien,
네가 스스로
you've
운명을
changed your own
바꾸었구나,
fate, Sinclair.
싱클레어. 너는 아직
Right
겁쟁이도
now,
아니고
you're neither a
영웅도
coward
아니야.
nor a hero,
두려움 역시
but you've still have to
완전히
let go of
놓지
your fears
못한 것 같네.
completely.
그때도 말했지.
I've said it before.
누군가를 두려워하는
Haven't I?
건
When you fear someone,
그 누군가에게
that's because you gave them the power to have control over you.
내주었기 때문이라고.
맞아.
That's right.
그리고 나는
And I
다른 사람이
don't want
너를
anyone else to
죽이는 게
domineer over you.
싫어. 그래서 저
Which is
크로마를
why I got rid of that
사라지게
Cromer.
했어.
The man referred to his Demian, then started to walk. He took airy steps as though he were embarking on a light trip.
세상은
So
곧 새로운
he didn't kill
탄생을
Cromer,
향해
he
갈 거야.
did.
Yeah.
그리고 그곳에는
The
아주
world is
소수의
about to head
사람만
for a
갈
new
수
birth.
있어.
And only a few individuals can get there.
싱클레어,
Sinclair,
너도 그중 하나야.
you're one of them. Sinclair fainted before he could answer. Demian slowly made his way over to me.
크로머는
Cromer
옛날 옛적의
attempted to
사람들이
become a
믿었다던
god,
신님이
like
되려고
those
했지.
which people of the past were said to believe in.
그 걸음이
Sinclair
될
almost
거라고.
became her stepping stone.
하지만
In
알은
the end, though,
혼자서 깨야 하는 거야.
one has to break an egg on their own.
크로머는 꽤 노력했어.
Cromer put in quite a bit of effort,
싱클레어가 첫
doing
번째
this and
동전을
that
얻을
to
때와
create a
똑같은
throwback to the
상황을
time when
만들려고
Sinclair lost his first coin.
이런저런 수도 쓰고 말이야. 크리스마스까지는
Irregardless of the fact that
시간이 많이
Christmas is
남았는데
still a while away.
결국 자기들이 그렇게
It's ironic that they resorted to
가짜를
creating
꾸미고
false
있었다는
imagery,
건
something they loathe so deeply. Don't you think so? What are you talking about? Who are you?
반가워.
A pleasure to meet you, Dante.
당신이
So,
잠깐 동안
you're the
싱클레어를
adult who will
길들여준
condition
어른이고
Sinclair at the moment.
내가 누구인지
As for who I am,
그리고 무슨 말을 하고
and for what I was
있었는지는
talking about,
때가 되면 알
you'll
수
see in
있을
due
거야.
time.
싱클레어가
When Sinclair
마음의
takes
힘을
flight with
굳게
unshakable
믿고
faith in the
날아올라서
power of the heart,
아름다운
Right.
별과
when he becomes
하나가 될
one
날이
with
올 때,
beautiful stars,
그때 나는 다시
That
돌아올 거야.
is when I'll return.
그날까지
Take good care of Sinclair until then,
잘 부탁해,
Dante.
단테.
You can hear me?
나는
I can hear
모든
all sorts of
지저귀는 들을
chirps
수
and
있어,
trills,
단테.
Dante.
당연히
It's only natural that I can
당신의
hear your
목소리도 들릴
voice.
수밖에. 언제나
Wait.
As always,
가장 중요한
what
건
matters most is
눈에
something you can't
보이지도
see or
귀에
hear.
들리지도 않으니까.
The boy with the blue scarf vanished without notice.
How can he hear Dante?
Excellent question. Next question.
Next question. Has that been explained in the stuff up to Canto 9 so far?
I believe we get a light hinting of it.
Final question. Out of curiosity, which canto?
Canto 6, I think. I think it's post Canto 6 that we get a light hinting of it.
Ah.
After that, the mounds began to melt away. They dissolved into mixtures of flesh and mud. With them gone, a single golden bough appeared before me, spreading its warm light. Sinclair's world was gradually melting with the hills. I excruciatingly dragged what's left of my upper body across the floor to reach Sinclair. He was still breathing. And so was I. I figured I should still be able to turn the clock. Thus, that means I'm still their manager, and I should act like one. Plus, as I learned in my dying moments, I have to strive to become a more sensible manager. With all that, I need to tell him. It might have been your fault, Sinclair. But that's okay. Really, it's one small mistake. One anyone could make. Don't beat yourself up so much about it. I pat him on the back with my half-melted right arm. Sinclair doesn't reply. To be truthful, trying to identify someone to blame on all this would be a never-ending endeavor. From each of us going and carrying our sins onto the bus, to my loss of head and memory, accompanied by an involuntary appointment as the executive manager. At the root of all this, I might find no one but myself to blame. Staying bound by that fact, though, will only keep us from taking our next steps.
발견했습니다.
We found him! I can hear multiple footsteps approaching our horribly incapacitated team. Virgilius must have figured we'd get into a mess and called the after team to scoop us up off the ground.
이자인 것 같습니다.
This looks like the individual we seek. Do I inject now? The others can be revived as long as this one lives. Focus all resources on restoring their body. I felt a jab in my shoulder, and then a strange sensation enveloped the parts of my body that had melted off.
그분이 지원해 주신
We were provided 3 HP ampules. Do I use all 3 on them? Keep an eye on their regeneration progress, and use them at your discretion. Lucky strap hangers. They're rolling in luxury thanks to having a color on their team. One with a bread and a cake carpet, and that too.
을 확인했습니다.
The voices around me start to fade. Sinclair's bawling lamentation dimly rings through the emptiness. Our third mission marked its sober end in a dismal defeat. Even though we recovered the Golden
Is it a
Bow, we
defeat?
lost. They lost the fight. They technically lost. They got the Golden Bow, but they did technically lose. Because literally all of them, Dante almost included, were dead. That was a loss, dude.
Yeah, fair.
On the other hand, the bus was more vibrant than usual, possibly out of everyone's attempts to disregard the depressing outcome. I bought enough chicken kebabs for all you to have one. So if anyone didn't get theirs, go and put your detective caps on by yourselves. Such curious cuisine. What is the intention of skewering chicken meat with a stick? I may be familiar with this kind of dish. Kochi of the duck variety. Basically the equivalent, the Korean equivalent of yakitori. Kochi is just skewered chicken. Skewered marinated chicken. It might be slightly spicy, but I'm not sure. I've never really looked into dakkochi. But it's basically Korean equivalent of yakitori, for layman's terms.
A sweet smell. The kind Mephi likes.
Stimulated, Charon revved the engine. Charon was humming another familiar tune. I could recognize the song this time. Charon, isn't Christmas still a long ways off?
Don't put a damper on Charon's fun, bug guy. If Charon feels like it's Christmas, then that's that.
But, come on, I called you by your name for once.
Well, why don't you settle the score by giving her a bus girly then? You know, tit for tat and all that.
Virgilius was watching the scene unfold, leaving his food to cool and hardly taking a bite, even though he was the one who bought it all. Perhaps he's gone quiet because of Charon's song. It does come to mind that he said she was going through a tunnel. And then I turned my gaze to Sinclair, who was awkwardly laughing amongst the other sinners. If we're going through a long tunnel, then what we do is wait for the morning to arrive, right?
What was that about, Dante? Grab the goofy poetry and have a kebab. Come on, say ah.
Our manager has no mouth.
관리자님은
The executive manager has no need for a mouth, as they're perfectly capable of commanding us without a word.
알아두도록.
Do keep that in mind.
아니,
Ollie,
덮어놓고 딸랑
don't you ever get tired of licking their boots so clean, Otis? Still one of my favorite lines out of Ishmael.
야,
Oi! Come all this, Gran. It's big.
이봐, 벌양.
Ayo,
라이터 줘.
BG. Give me a light. But I wouldn't know what that's short for. I thought about giving a speech to the sinners about how this fruitful yet unsuccessful mission changed my mindset. But I soon shelved the idea. I told Sinclair to not let a failure of the moment bind him after all. Instead, I've resolved to make up for this less than ideal outcome on our next mission.
May I have thine attention, Sir Virgilius?
What?
I do believe I have acted with sufficient caution, as you hath warned. Thusly, if I may, would you allow me to lay claim upon a skewer?
Go right ahead. As Don Quixote's excited jubilation adds a layer of vigor to the already lively bus, the message I couldn't speak, but one I'm sure has been conveyed in one way or another, spread between us. And so the morning came. And that is, in fact, the end of Canto 3. In terms of the actual game itself, we've actually gotten a proper explanation of what the fuck Demian did. Like, we actually understand what he did now in terms of in-game. But, as kind of a last little thing for the, literary references to Demian. When Demian approaches Sinclair saying that he got Cromer off his back for all the bullying shenanigans, we have no idea what the fuck Demian did to Cromer. We just know that basically all of a sudden, not in fear or anything, Cromer just started avoiding Sinclair. We straight up have no idea what Demian did to Cromer. So that's a mystery for the ages even now. Other than that, in terms of shenanigans when it comes to Demian, if I believe correctly of the book, it is very ambiguous of what the heck is going on with Demian and his mother. Like, I don't know if they're supposed to be implied to be angels, or if there's just something weird about them, but they are very spiritual. As they do not worship God, but instead they worship a being known as Abraxas. Which, even now, in actuality, we have no real idea what the fuck Abraxas is or was. The Catholics say it's a pagan god, but it's older than that and has been in and out worshipped of shenanigans. It's all very bizarre. But also, this is one of my favorite ending scenes, just because of how pleasant it is. Ryoshi was roasting her chicken. Honglu's just curious, Faust is done. Dawn's already eaten hers. Greg and Rodian are trying to get Dante to eat. Heathcliff somehow has 6 skewers, even though there should only be 1 for each. Otis is breaking her skewer to get to the rest of her meat, and Merceau's is covered in sauce to the point that he has gotten some on his pants, and Ishmael is trying to keep her hair out of the mess. That is my favorite part, is just the fact that Merceau literally has gotten sauce on his soleil, and his pants, and almost in Ishmael's hair. Like, he's kind of the prim and proper guy, but yeah. Also, Charon also has a stick. But yeah, for some reason, Heathcliff has fucking 6 skewers. Where did he get them? We don't know.
Because there should be at most.
There should be
15.
There should be exactly 15, but yet there are more than that, and Heathcliff has them all. They're his
Like
now.
I could understand if he has 2 because Dante can't really eat.
And maybe
Why
steals
does he have
Virgilius's.
6?
Yeah. He has 1 in his hand
Well,
that
I
he's
mean,
still eating.
if he steals Virgilius's, he's going to end up decapitated.
Yeah, but it's like, he literally has 5 empty skewers in his right hand and 1 that he's still munching on in his left. So it's like, what? Also, unsurprising MVP, Dawn. Just unsurprising, she was doing so much damage. Her Ray Canto 9 unit. But that is in fact the end of Canto 3! And next time we play, we're into our first intervallo. Hell's Chicken.
Oh, now I remember.
Yes.
That answers what I was about to ask.
Yep.
That's literally what I was about to ask. If Hell's Chicken is in this anywhere.
Yep.
Or if that was some...
Nope.
Oh boy.
Nope.
Oh boy.
Hell's Chicken is an intervallo. And for a reference, intervallo is literally just an intermission chapter. That's all it is.
Basically, the devs going, yeah, we want to give you guys something, but we need a tiny bit more time, so...
Here's
that's
the side
this.
event. Yeah, basically, for the length that Limbus has been running, they have been doing things known as the Bulkak, which is event reruns. So for a limited time, Hell's Chicken was obviously kind of a season 1 thing, and there was like a whole event. It was our first limited time special event that was not a Kanto, and there was like special prizes and stuff. And then some time ago they introduced the Bulkak, and the first one was obviously Hell's Chicken, where basically if you had missed out on the rewards, you could grind for them, and they added hard mode. Obviously, if I go into this, it will only be easy mode. Also, the funky music, that's some of my favorite. But, yeah, Hell's Chicken is, it's gonna be a treat. And I'm still holding on to the Lunacy, just because of, the fact that there's going to be a new Ishmael, coming after this stream, basically, so I'm gonna do that next week.
Fair enough.
Trying to think if there's anything else important I need to note. I think that's basically it in terms of anything important regarding Canto 3. Obviously you can tell by Hell's Chicken that we're still going to be in the K-Corp area, and you can see that the month has changed from February to March. The passage of time is...
What?
Huh? Yeah,
It's changed to what?
it is now March in-game. So we were in February, it's now March. The passage of time is fairly irrelevant. Like, there's no reason to really take note of the fact that time is passing in terms of the in-game months. But they do keep track of it, because there is one point where everyone goes, oh hey, Happy New Year! like they at least acknowledge that time is actively passing in Limbus Company. Which is cool. Like, it's not just a nebulous time frame of, well, how long is this journey taking us? We actually know how long the journey is taking. Because as of Canto 9, it has literally been over a year. Like, they started in January, and it is now February of the next year as of the most recent Canto. That is how long the journey has been in real time. Which, again, kinda cool.
Indeed.
But, with that taken into consideration, this is going to be where we leave off for the night. We have been going for almost 4 hours, which I figured this one would do, because I was going to fucking finish this Kanto tonight.
Finish the fight.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll get through all of Hell's Chicken next time, but intervalos do tend to be kind of short, but they do usually have dungeons in them as well, so Hell's Chicken might be a 2-stream affair as well, but we'll see. We'll see how fast I get through it. But besides that, I do hope you enjoyed the stream. I will have the VOD up on my secondary channel tomorrow. And on Wednesday, I will hopefully actually be back with Persona 5. I just straight up wasn't feeling well last week. And continue on from there. There's not going to be any major content updates for Limbus Company for a long while, so if I ever have any...
Canto 9 just ended.
Yeah, Canto 9 just ended, and we don't know when the next intervallo is. Whenever we get that, I'll probably stream that, so I have both the past cantos and the active cantos going. And because updates are on Wednesdays, I usually play on Thursday mornings, So that'll be fun. But
If I had to, so it's on record. My prediction
don't say too
into
much.
late summer.
Oh, you mean in terms of real time? No, if I had to guess when the Intervalo is going to come out, I'm going to say it's going to be about April.
Oh, that's soon. Wow. Huh. Alright.
Yeah, because they are still, like, obviously they're working on Canto 10 and stuff like that, but it's a case of like, it's usually about a 6-month gap between the cantos themselves. So, like, mid to late summer is going to be when we get Canto 10 if all things go according to plan. So we'll probably get 9.5 around April, May, somewhere around there. But make sure you spell this right. With all of that taken in consideration, I am going to go ahead and raid Claire, who is doing some Castlevania Curse of Darkness. So I hope you enjoyed the stream, and we will see you all next time.
Data.
Yep. Until then, bye!